And you know how like magicians get showgirls, like wearing like scantily, like nothing and like dancing. So she got like for her thing, she got like these like male stripper dudes, like gigantic buff ass. I think they have a show in Vegas called Thunder Down Under.
Right.
They're like Australian, like super hot, like big buff Australian dudes, and they have that energy about them as well.
Yeah.
So it was me and these like Australian dudes, and her and a couple of other magicians hanging out in that workshop area. And I was the last performer of that group. So I saw all of them go up, do their thing, they leave, and so it was me and the and the whole time
I just imagine you like getting your time wrong. So you walk up with the male stripper dudes, and you're like, oh fuck, I'm on camera. All right, it's live TV. All right, I got to do something, and you just start moving. So yeah, man, fucking good to have you, dude.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I'm so excited. This is like so official and professional. Dude. I'm loving it.
Yeah, man. It's funny because you weren't at the actually before I get into that story, for anyone that's been living under a rock and don't know who Dev Sherman is, all right, he's a amazing magician, one of my favorite people to hang out with, to see perform with, and he's been on Fool Us. If you want to catch that episode, do you know what season you were on?
Season 7.
Season 7. So YouTube it. It's all on there. And I will also announce the fact that to anyone watching, they know this, but this is the first ever episode of this show. I call it a podcast. People understand what the hell that is, but it's really a show. It's more visual in nature. And, well, more so a historical document, because I feel like society's going to shit. We're all going to get in World War III. It's all happening. So this is just a historical, this is going to be the Anne Frank diary of our generation, okay? As everything's collapsing around us, we're just going to be out here doing magic. So
that sounds
this is
awesome.
our attic. But yeah, man, so I was about to go into the story about how I did this lecture for the magicians at Magicana, all about social media.
Yeah.
And I was sort of feeling really anxious about that lecture because it was all about content strategy.
Yeah.
And I had not been doing YouTube for like 2 years at that point. Like I just took a massive break.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, how am I to say like what you should and shouldn't do when I'm not even doing this shit? But in the background, we were planning this thing. So now I'm really happy to be like, I told you guys the blueprint. None of you motherfuckers did anything, and I did it. And I this is what I was telling you guys to do.
Amazing.
So yeah, I'm pretty stoked.
Following your own advice.
Yeah, exactly. I did that lecture for myself, to be honest. Like, get off your ass.
Fuck yeah,
and
man.
make this content, baby.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, this is great. This is very, very like professional production quality, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, just based on, because we've pre-recorded one of my best friend actually. He went to UK, so we pre-recorded that episode, and just like. We both just loved the experience, like, and which is to be honest, for me, doing YouTube for, years, honestly, I started YouTube when I was like 12.
Wow. 12.
I hope to fuck no one has saved those fucking videos.
Are they still up there on your channel?
Nah. My mom made me delete my YouTube after like I made like 3 videos or something, or maybe 4, I don't know.
She made you delete it.
Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, there was a lot of strictness in my upbringing, so that was just part of it. But to be honest, I'm kind of glad because it was probably trash. Do you remember Ray William Johnson?
Yeah, OG YouTuber.
It was basically a copying of his whole format, but I was like 12 years old.
Oh man,
it was terrible.
But like you started young, and I think that's the beauty of it. Like you got in the game very early.
Well,
you must have learned something from that.
I think the point was that I had some. Like I felt like I wanted to do it. And so like, as things progressed, I was like, no, like that was a good instinct that I followed because I do actually like doing this.
Yeah.
The problem with doing the YouTube stuff that I was doing, one, it was very repeatable. Like the reactions, I wasn't really getting anything out of them at that point.
The reaction videos.
Yeah. There wasn't anything I felt like the amount of creative output or outlet I could have through them was very minimal. Like, it was just a monologue. It was the intro trick and a monologue at the end, which was fine. But after you do 300, you're sort of like, I can do this in my sleep. Like, you know what I mean? It just, there was nothing there that I felt like really, really excited about.
Yeah.
And then just also sitting down by myself in the garage every day being like, monologue time, and then takes on takes, and then it just became very grindy, you know?
Yeah, it sounds like a dull experience.
Right. Whereas this is almost the same thing I was doing, but it includes like a social life.
Great, man. 2 birds, 1 stone.
Exactly.
kind of
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah. So it's like,
That's
I
awesome.
can actually do it and have fun. And that was kind of the goal. Yeah. So to anyone watching, this will be classified under comedy, just in case we get cancelled in 10 years when you know, the word riffle shuffle is cancelled.
Yeah.
And
I can see that happening.
Yep. And
sure.
we can say, you know, no, it was actually a comedy show, and therefore we were joking.
Absolutely.
About everything.
100%.
So it's also a historical document, and we have the great Wizard of Oz, Dev Sherman.
Wizard of Oz.
I mean,
Is that my new?
I don't know. It's just the highest praise I could give at this moment in time.
I'm honored.
So.
I'm honored for this Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, dude.
Accolade. Thank you.
So I was thinking, what the fuck can I? Because I, you know, the whole part of the whole thing is that people keep asking me, what's this podcast about that you keep talking about?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, it's magic plus interest in people.
Cool.
What the fuck more than you want? What do you want that's more than that?
Yeah.
Magic and interesting people. That's all that you'd ever want, right?
Yeah.
So we got the interesting person part down. The issue is you're the main brain behind the something magic, which is currently the only reason I create magic. Because it basically makes me just like lights a fire under my ass and I make more magic stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, you've seen all my new shit. I don't know what else I can do that you haven't seen that's not like, you know, just classic magic.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd go for a meme. All right. So here we go. All right. So you want to take a card out? Yeah, just take one out. Classic force.
This has been amazing.
Yeah, that would be next level.
You could just sell that, dude. Just do that.
Yeah, dude. That's my only act. Just force cards. All right. So you got that. It's okay if we sit. Yeah.
Can I show the camera?
Yeah. I'll see it too.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
So the 3 of clubs. Interesting choice. The reason I said it's a force is because it's like the only card in the deck that you know the story of Arthur, King Arthur, like the sword and the stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the only one that really has that essence, you know? Because like if you're not Arthur, and like, you know, I'm not Arthur, I assume based on your name you're not Arthur.
No.
We just can't turn this card over.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like you like I want you to imagine yourself like turning this card over, and what that would, you know, what would happen if you did that.
Yeah.
And I want you to just really like play that in your mind.
Okay.
Yeah. And I want you to go ahead and try. Is that on camera?
What?
So I just went the meme option, honestly. In all honesty.
Yeah. I mean, I love that.
Yeah. So that's all I had for you.
Oh, wow. Great.
I mean, I'm sure we'll do some random shit leading up, but
no, that's really nice. You know, it's a good way to use the double backer.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I was actually at a party and it was Ivan's like last party before he left, and this fell out the deck as I was just like handling cards, and one of my non-magician friends was like, "Oh," and I'm like, "It's nothing really. It's a double backer." He's like, well, "What do you use it for?" I'm like, "Honestly, not much. This is the only." And then I showed him this. Yeah. And so it's just been fresh in my head, in my mind.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That's
fun. Anyways, so yeah, dude. Now I feel like I have to, you know, it's a public platform, so I have to sort of bring this up. Get that mic a little bit closer. Yeah. And just like, well, yeah, nice.
Classic.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan.
I mean, I'm trying to get into that habit of like observing it, you know?
Yeah.
So like, it's been how long has it been since you were on Full Loss?
So I filmed it in March of 2020.
2020.
And
was that like on the cusp of COVID?
It was just before COVID. So I like, yeah, when I returned to Auckland from Vegas on the 8th of March, and we were in lockdown on the 15th of March. So yeah.
That's insane, dude.
Cutting it close.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, perfect. Me and my family were going to go on a vacation in the States after my Full Loss act. And I was like, no, don't come to the States. I don't want you to watch me perform on Full Loss because I'll be way too nervous.
Yeah.
We'll just do a holiday another time. This time I'm just going for the act. I'm going to come back and then rest. So let's not do a holiday. And I'm so glad that we made that decision.
Right.
Because I think we would have been stuck in the States. Because we would have just gone for a holiday right after that.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
You perform for like, how big was the crowd? Like what? 5,000?
I don't even know.
Okay. But like the stadium or whatever, how many seats would you say?
I think it fit about, around that much.
Yeah, that's insane, right? You perform for 5,000 people, but as soon as your mom's there, it's like, nah, dude.
I know, right? Like international television, like celebrities, all kinds of people.
Like literally, maybe your idols, right? Like, like Penn And Teller, like one of the people we look up to.
100%.
It's like, mom?
Nah. Yeah, man. Something about that, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we filmed it in March 2020, and then the episode came out July 2020. So it's been 2 years, exactly 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've had time to sit on it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I heard your like sort of experience of it when you came back. How do you feel about it now? Like looking back?
Yeah, quite a few things. I'm obviously really proud of myself to like, because that entire process from start to finish, barring a couple of elements, was entirely self-driven. Like, right from the, I guess since I found out about the audition. So I found out about the Foolish audition in May, and the May of 2019.
And it was in Aussie, right?
It was in Aussie, in Gold Coast.
You had to fly there.
Yeah, I had to fly there. And the audition was in October. So from May to October, I was like, it was just a good challenge for me to come up with something that I could present to audition with. And I started that process, I think around like June, July, the idea started forming and slowly developed over time. I just thought it was a good exercise for me to just try to audition and sort of be on the show, see what that's like.
You're really good at that, eh? Like that's something that I've like sort of learnt from you is like just putting a deadline or putting a thing and then being like, well, I guess I'm fucked if I don't, and then you just have to work, because otherwise you just I mean I've found this out through my own fuck ups, but you just end up getting nothing done, and you're like in the same spot you always were.
Yeah, I completely. I think that's something that I realized about myself. Like I wouldn't do anything if I didn't have a deadline, and sometimes I wouldn't even do anything if I had a deadline. Yeah. But it helped if I had a deadline to make me do at least something.
Yeah.
I think the only way I realized I was creating stuff was if I had something concrete to look forward to, something like very specific. I think the main factors behind that are focus, just having focus, because magic is such a vast world. You can practice so many different things. You can learn so many different things, and choosing one thing or like choosing one kind of act to work on can be really difficult. Like, how do you curate your attention or your focus in the world of magic? And I think the way I've found out that I want to do that is just by having really specific goals or just specific deadlines that I want to do this by this time and see what that turns out to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I've honestly tried to implement that in my own sort of.
Yeah, I can see that. It's great.
Yeah. Because for
awesome,
a while
man.
we were just like making, even for the studio, right? We were just making like random upgrades and random like, this needs to happen more. And then it was like, when are we going to film? When's the date? And then we're like, okay. And then we started hustling. Like, well, obviously we were doing stuff, but it was sort of just wishy-washy. Like, I'll work on a table today. I'll go and do this, whatever. But yeah, as soon as we put the date on, it was like, okay, what do we need? List, boom, 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 boom. Like we started working through it. And I don't know. I think I never, because I guess like in society, everything's sort of done for you. Like in school, you got these deadlines that everyone sets for you, and you just got it. Like you never really learn, at least for me, I never learned the skill of like setting goals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I always felt like I don't want to do extra shit. So why am I making it harder on myself? You know what I mean? Like I just want to chill, like leave me alone. Like,
Yeah.
And so, but then you realize that like that's unfulfilling ultimately, because you just end up sitting around feeling
How long
bad.
you can just sit around for?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that gets boring.
Unless
That
you're like a monk. you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
True. I guess monks can sit around.
But I
for
guess their
ages.
goal is to sit around. So
Yeah.
that's another sort of,
That's another whole journey
Yeah.
that you can go on.
Yeah.
For sure.
anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, I interrupted you. So yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I can definitely see the hustle,
Mm,
and it's looking great, and I'm really excited for how this unfolds for you.
thanks, man.
Mm.
But yeah, anyway, so you're saying, yeah, so we were at, you set your goal to do the audition.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, I was like, what could I possibly create? Because they gave a brief when you register your interest for the audition. They give you a brief, and the brief was, don't focus on fooling, something that would fool them, but focus on creative performance theme or a story, something unique, and bring a different sort of like your own version to that. And so,
Which is smart on their part.
yeah,
'cause
I think that's the key element of Fool Us. The hook is
ultimately you could be, you could have your whole act be like, am I palming or am I not? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it becomes a very like just a meta, sub-meta sort of thing where you're just faking every move just to see if you can catch them with one thing. Like it becomes
Exactly.
a very,
yeah. I think fooling them specifically is I think the hook of the show. It's what it was. It's what
at least for the
gets-
audience.
For the audience, yeah,
But-
it's for them to, because if it was just a show about here is some unique, interesting magic people performing, that would be great. But it wouldn't get the pull.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
The fooling
For magicians, it'd be cool, but for
Yeah.
the marketing strategy is the
that's the hook element,
yeah.
and it's great. I mean, Penn and Teller have that sort of confrontational energy about them, even
yeah, that's true.
just in general with their
Well, more
persona.
Penn and Teller. But
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Yeah.
So it works really well for them, and I think they've done a wonderful job with the show.
Oh, I think I've like outside of Chris Angel and what Dynamo, I guess here,
Yeah,
people don't really know about David Blaine here, but
yeah,
outside of like Dynamo and Chris Angel, Fool Us is the thing that people talk to me the most about. Like when I go to gigs and stuff, they're like, "Do you know those two guys with that show?" That they don't even know who it is or what. Like
Yeah.
that show with the tall guy and whatever. And like,
yeah. Same. I've had the same experience. They know Dynamo. Surprisingly, they know Chris Angel, which is quite sad.
Yeah.
But no, Penn and Teller seems to be relatively a common.
Although apparently his live show is fucking amazing. I haven't seen
Believe.
it. Yeah.
thing,
But
yeah.
you've seen it, right?
No, I've
No,
not
you
seen
haven't,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you when we get to the Vegas
Yeah,
part
yeah,
of
yeah,
my
yeah.
Fuller story
Yeah.
with the shows that I saw. Yeah, so I had the idea of, I don't know if we want to tell too much about the performance itself, but I had my idea, the main idea around the inner critic from acting class, because in acting class we work quite what's the word for it? Specifically and with attention to the idea of the inner critic, because it's a huge part of developing love for yourself and confidence for yourself is sort of battling that inner voice that tells you that you're not good enough. I think that's where my inspiration for this.
Where does that fit in like what's the aim of I guess what does it help with in acting to necessarily I mean I'm sure there's so many like I feel like actors are like super insecure in the same way that magicians are super insecure, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I'm just curious like where that like interfaces with the actual practice of acting.
So specifically, I think our class is a very holistic approach to acting in general. Like, my teacher's amazing. Like, shout out to Casey Stetson Studio. She's a wonderful, wonderful teacher. And her approach to this is that she used to be a teacher in LA as well. And she found that there was a lot of her students. She's a great acting teacher. She knows her way around acting. She's an amazing acting coach. And she was having really successful students, but they weren't necessarily the healthiest mentally. You know, some of them did a lot of self-harm. They got into bad situations. And she realized that it was really important to create a framework where, apart from their acting abilities, their mental health was really well looked after.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's really important specifically in acting because we have to go to some really deep and dark places, especially if you're doing those kind of roles where there's a lot of anger and hurt and fear. You can't just pretend to be angry or hurt or fear. You have to trigger those emotions in your body. Only then does it come across as good acting.
So do you use like memory triggers
Of
of like times when, you know, you felt that emotion and stuff?
That's a specific technique called emotional recall.
Okay, yeah.
Different acting teachers recommend different techniques,
Right,
and there's
right.
different schools of thought on how to go about it. So yeah, that's the basic idea behind why we do this kind of inner critic work.
Interesting. Yeah.
So yeah, and also another element of it is this is also called instrumental work. Instrumental work in the sense that, for example, if you're a musician or a guitar player, your instrument is your guitar, right? So you have to look after your instrument really well. But if you're an actor, your instrument is you, the human. And so looking after your inner critic, making sure that, you know, you're feeling good about yourself, or at least you're keeping yourself in a healthy space mentally and physically and emotionally, so you can give your best work on screen. So you're your instrument, and so looking after that is also really important. So that was the whole sort of like
Interesting.
background.
I feel like there should be something in magic for like developing like social awareness.
100%.
You know, or something. I don't know. Because I feel like, okay, I've thought about this a lot, and this is a slight tangent, but I feel like in comedy, right, that's sort of a self-leveling process, because to be funny, you almost have to be self-aware and socially aware.
Yeah.
Whereas in magic, almost there's no like negative hard feedback you receive, except for did they know how I did it or not.
Yeah.
So it can really skew for like very strange, I guess, characters, or
100%.
like, you know, or like self-involved sort of type of person that wants that sort of power
Validation.
trip, or,
Absolutely.
you know.
Yeah.
So I've actually been thinking about that a lot, to be really, really useful. I feel like, because for me, like I developed it from completely different angles. Like it wasn't through magic that I developed, you know, social awareness and self-awareness. In fact, I did magic way before I had those things. So I feel like that would be like really good. But obviously,
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with magic, right? I think it was Ricky Jay who said it's magic supports the weak performer. You know, the art of magic is in some ways binary, where if you got the trick right, if you didn't mess the trick up, you still managed to create some sort of magic.
Yeah.
And that's generally enough for the audience, because they don't know.
Yeah.
They can feel the difference between a great performer and a good performer and a bad performer.
Yeah.
But the bad performer doesn't know that.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
That's sort of what makes you a bad performer, is that you can't really notice that. Yeah. Sorry. All right. So we're back to, it's just a little tangent I was thinking about.
Yeah, and I'm loving the tangents too.
Yeah, cool.
I'm happy
I'll keep
with
them coming then. I'll keep them coming. You know how my mind works. I'm all over the place. All right. So, yeah. So acting and self-harm and inner critic.
Yeah. So that was sort of like, I was like, that feels like, you know, authentic to me, and it's something that I want to explore and see if I can like express that through magic. And yeah, I thought that would be a unique part of this. I mean, unique way to go about a card trick, you know. So that was sort of the idea that was forming, and then the trick itself was based off a routine that I'd done in 2017. You were there in the Wellington Magic Convention. I did a routine for the close-up magic competition, and without giving too much away, because people are going to watch the performance if they're going to watch it, it involves marks at the back of the card. That's essentially the main sort of concept that I was working with. And I always thought that there was more. I did that routine in 2017, and I always felt like I could do maybe more with it and see like how I could, you know, enhance that routine. And so I went down that route. I came up with some ideas. I tried a few different combinations. I tried like different ways of like making the special like secret stuff for the effect. And I thought, okay, maybe this could potentially fool them. And yeah, I just kept developing it. There was lots of trial and error. And then over time, it started to become a little bit more sort of like streamlined and focused. And yeah, then I practiced it on Morris, our friend Morris, who's also a wonderful magician and very knowledgeable magician. Shout out to Morris.
Yeah, I'll probably get him on at some point.
Yeah,
let's be
yeah,
honest.
definitely should. And so yeah,
he can talk to me about how he reads whole books and I only read like 3 pages. But yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's something that I definitely want to do myself as well. You know, sort of.
I don't think I'm gonna get it, bro.
Yeah, it seems tough.
If there's a book that has 400 tricks and it's just like effect, method. I'm not gonna go page by page, man. Come on, what are we doing?
Like a cookbook, eh?
yeah, exactly.
What recipe do you want? Go find the recipe.
Yeah,
Don't read
exactly.
All the recipes.
I'm way too ADD for that. Like I'll listen to audiobooks and shit, but like I mean they're not gonna anyways.
Yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah, so I showed it to Morris and it fooled him, which is a big surprise to me personally, because it's very rare you can fool more. Like we were just talking about, he's read so many books, he has so much knowledge. So that gave me a bit of confidence. And then I went to the Gold Coast. It was around that time that the thing happened. Went to the Gold Coast, auditioned for met the producers of the show who had come down to Gold Coast, auditioned for them. And they seemed quite positive. Their reactions to it were very positive. And it was a really unique sort of convention because everybody was there just for the audition. No one really cared much about the other sort of headliners. And the other headliners were actually pretty great. Like Losander was there, which was a good time, you know, levitation.
His bubble trick
yeah,
still
man.
fucks me up. I mean, I know how he does it, but every time I see it, I'm like, oh my god, dude.
That's so beautiful.
Look up what is it called? Zombie? No.
Yeah.
Bubble just type in bubble Losander.
You should be able to find something.
Yeah, you'll find it.
It's like real magic. Like it just feels like beyond explanation.
The way he goes like bubble come here, it's like it's like literally okay, for people listening, there's a soap bubble and it just moves on command. And then he like puts a cloth over it and it's flying around and then it's like it pops and it disappears. It's insane. It's crazy. It's exactly what real magic would look like.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's one of my favorite. I remember watching that and just thinking like, this is real magic. This is just straight up real magic.
Yeah, seeing it live, I was just like, I can't even comprehend what the hell I just saw. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially that moment when he brings it towards himself, like, what the fuck? It's a bubble, dude. Yeah. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, it was a good time, but everyone was there very clearly for the audition. I remember the auditions went over a couple of days and it was, nerve-wracking. Everyone standing outside the audition room just like shitting themselves.
They're shitting themselves now. Just wait till you get to the main thing, right? Surely.
True. Yeah. And I was pretty nervous myself.
I'm nervous like leaving my house. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, fuck.
But at the same time, I remember just thinking this before I went on and inside to audition for them. I was like, I'm really proud of myself for like even coming up with something. And that was the intention, come up with something, you know, develop a routine and perform it so I did that act for the audition and for the close-up competition. So both for that convention. And then I went in, I had a good time. They were really lovely. They were very, like I was saying, like they gave me some really wonderful notes and they were like, film this and send it to us before mid-November. I think that was the deadline, or just before early November. Send us the video. And so when I came out, I was feeling pretty good about it. And then I heard that everybody else got the same response. Everybody, they were all like, yeah, just send it to us, send us a video of it. I think that's pretty much how they go about finding people for Fool Us, is they just, what do you call it? Get them to send a video. So yeah, I just was like, okay, great, you know. I didn't think much else of it. I was just like, yeah, I'll just finish this journey. I'll make the rest of the I'll make the work on the notes that they gave me and try and see if I can improve on this act and then make the video and send it. So that was in October. So I had like 2-3 weeks. So I spent 2-3 weeks working on it, developing it a little bit more, and filmed the audition video in MoveSpace, that venue. It's a wonderful venue.
Shout out to MoveSpace.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I actually live with the creator of MoveSpace now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So did that, and then I didn't think much of it. I was like, yeah, this is probably the end of the road on this Fool Us journey. I genuinely did not think that I would actually be on the show. I just didn't think the quality of that act was good enough. Inner critic.
It all comes back full circle.
And then I sent it, and then I think it was not even like a week later, like a few days later, they sent me an email saying, "We love your trick. Can you send us a script of it? A script of the like what you're going to say."
A transcript.
For it. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's nice that they love it. Well, that's a good sign."
Unless they do this to everyone, but I doubt it. You know, why
exactly.
would they do that? Yeah.
So luckily that day I'd taken the day off. So I was like, great. I took the day off. I went to the cafe, wrote down the whole script of the whole routine, and then I sent it to them the day itself. And I just remembered. I also did this. What I did was I printed it. I wrote down the whole script, printed it out, and then made like notes and corrections like on the script to make it look like I'd been working on it for a while. Like it wasn't just made for this specific reason.
Right.
Like I'd actually been working on the script the whole time. I don't know why I did that. I don't think they even cared, but I just remember doing that.
You're like, this will fool them. You know, this will get them. I love it.
Yeah, so I sent it to them, and then obviously at this point I was more hopeful. Like, okay, yeah, this looks like something that could, turn out positively. And it was the 28th of November. I was exhausted because this whole process was actually really tiring. Going to Gold Coast by myself, coming up with the act, performing, auditioning for them, coming back, developing the act.
You know what's crazy to me though is that I guess it was just sort of an exercise for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like if you had any sort of like outcome dependence, you're like, oh fuck, I'm spending money on a ticket, I'm going there, like I feel like that would just add so much pressure.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think the best things that I've ever done that I've been able to be successful at have all been that way.
Yeah,
it's like I don't care if I get it or not, really. Like ultimately. Like I'm almost like I'm not gonna get it.
Yeah.
But then I do the work as if I will.
Yeah.
And like that to me, I don't know like I don't know how to recreate that always.
Yeah.
Oftentimes I have things where I'm like, I really want this, and that's a bad spot to be in. You know what I mean? Because it's like now you're so attached to this outcome. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like this is how I feel about this.
Yeah.
This podcast. Like if no one ever listens to it, I don't give a fuck.
Great.
I've said this in the pre-recording.
Awesome.
I've said this, like I'm gonna keep saying this because I honestly don't, because this is fun for me. Right, what we're doing right now.
I'm loving it.
You know what I mean? So anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, no, couldn't agree more. I think what happens, this is something not just for I think for everything in life. If you really, really want it, I think it creates this, I guess, tension, or like some sort of resistance where like almost your like major parts of your happiness or your like self-love or like how you feel about yourself depend on this outcome.
Yeah.
I think that becomes a really sort of like, what's the term?
It drains you.
Yeah, it drains you and it like creates this needy energy. And I think that's just not a pleasant.
This is what happened to me, like because when I finished high school, I wanted to do medicine.
Wow,
which is funny. I didn't. I was like, oh yeah, like because I always thought I could handle like gory stuff. I thought, like I got like a steady hand, all that stuff. Like it was sort of like I could be a surgeon potentially. I didn't realize you also had to have like more than 2 brain cells to rub together. You know what I mean? But yeah, so it was this sort of thing where it's like my whole identity, my whole like need was like I need to become this thing, and I rocked up to my first semester and I just self-sabotage. I watched like YouTube for 16-hour days and like just did nothing, and then like failed every paper. It was just like the self-sabotaging spiral of just like like getting high every day sort of thing, and just like oh my god, like and it was just like looking back, it was just completely unnecessary. And like the things that I've enjoyed and succeeded at since then have always been these things that like I just do it for the process.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think like that's what I'm trying to foster now, like more and more, is that like I hear people talk about like, oh, like, he's got so much money and I'm like, dude, like if you had the money but you still did shit you hated, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have the money but you do stuff every day, you do stuff that you love, then it also doesn't matter. Like I mean, like you shouldn't give a shit unless you care about what other people say, which is again why.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Couldn't agree more. I think it's the key is finding reward in the process itself.
Yeah, 100%. But it's also like you have to be very dedicated, like very disciplined to do that, you know, because it's very easy to fall into like, you know, like going to a competition and not placing, or you know, not getting a full us audition, or, you know, in my case, like, you know, competing in jiu-jitsu and like getting fucked up, and it's like you still got to rock up to the gym the next day. Doesn't matter, like nothing's changed, you
absolutely
know? But it's very easy to be like, oh, I suck, you know, in a critic, you know,
100%.
back to that. So yeah,
100%.
yeah,
I think that's how I look at it as well. I think it's all about just trying and enjoying the process as much. And what you said about like, if you're doing what you love every day, that's key, man. Like that's what our life is made of, right? Days. And if you're doing the things that you love on a daily basis, then it's a good life.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it as well. And that's how I looked at it at the time. And yeah, so yeah, it's back to the Fool Us story. I was on the bus back home. I was exhausted, like I was saying, just absolutely knackered, because it was a very draining process. And I had acting class that evening, and it was my first year in acting class, and it's a very challenging class. Like my teacher's not an easy person to be taught by, because she's very demanding of you per week, and she's very like honest and brutal. And I was like, man, I just don't want to go to acting class today. I just want to go and just chill at home, because I'm just proud of myself for doing this whole thing. And, you know, I think I just deserve a rest. And I was on the bus. I opened my email, and it was, congratulations, you've been accepted to perform on Penn And Teller Fool Us, blah, blah, blah. We'll pay for this, like you'll be like flown out to Vegas, all of that sort of jazz. And yeah, it's one of the happiest moments of my life. I just remember feeling so elated and just so you like
just jump off the moving bus.
Yeah, it was such a surreal experience.
Just skip home, you know.
Yeah, just that energy boost that I got, and just the joy and just the pride that I felt. It was
now
really wonderful.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Okay, how soon after you felt this boost of energy, all right, did you go, oh fuck, now I have to go perform in front of fucking people in Las Vegas and my childhood heroes and all this shit? Because I would go there straight away. I go, oh god, what did I get myself into?
Yeah, surprisingly, it took a few days for that to happen. I think I would even say like maybe a good like week to 10 days, because of the fact that it was set to be in March. So they were like, yeah, we're going to film in March. Make sure you're available in March. And
if it's far away enough, you go, it's future me can deal with that shit.
Exactly. Yeah. And I already had the routine completely ready.
Nice,
so I was like, I don't have to prepare anything new. So I didn't feel that nervous initially. But I think once sort of like mid-December, Christmas time rolled around, I was like, okay, now, you know, it's going to happen soon. And then it started really sort of becoming very real and really terrifying. And that's where I think what happened was I started to become a little bit more attached to the outcome. Yeah. As you would, man. You're going to be on like international television, and all like the 100%. World is going to see you.
Yeah.
And I actually put a lot of pressure on myself. Like in sort of like in a almost a healthy way, but I mean, in hindsight, it's never good to put pressure on yourself. So I started like becoming really like specific around my like mental health for this whole thing. I was doing yoga very religiously and like meditating for at least half an hour, just so because I knew this would be a very intense experience for me, and I knew that if I had to get through it, I had to look after myself. Like I had to be able to like stay grounded. So I just like worked really hard on mostly my mental health for the next few months.
That's some smart shit, man. Because like most performers, they're like, you know, I mean, they're not gonna be healthy about it. They're just gonna fucking drown their sorrows in whatever substance of their choice, and you know, whether it's food or whatever. Yeah, and just, you know, ride it out. You know, but yeah, like it's hard to do too, man. Like meditating every day. Wheesh.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just the stage was so big and the stakes was so high. That almost automatically gave me so much energy to be able to like create that discipline for myself. Yeah. Also, I think one of the most difficult things about this whole time was it was an incredibly lonely time for me. Apart from Morris, who I worked with intermittently throughout this whole process, there was nobody else that I really worked with. It was all just entirely my own sort of solo journey.
Well, there were some haters, which we were not going to mention, but you know who you are. All right.
I mean, that was after. That was really? After. The hating part, I mean, yeah, I mean, we can get into that afterwards as well. But that was after the
Okay.
episode came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this person didn't know that I'd auditioned for it
Oh.
at the time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought I was before, and I was like, what a.
Yeah. No,
all right. No.
yeah,
Okay.
he wasn't aware. I think that's partly why he was also hating afterwards. I don't know, dude. Yeah. So yeah, that was one of the difficult things about this. It was a very, very lonely process. And like, let's just cut to March now when I go to Vegas, and that was in itself such a surreal, just unbelievable experience. Just even like sitting on the flight, going to LA, and just like knowing I'm going to go to Vegas to do a magic show. You know, that's where like in some ways it's like one of the holy grail areas of magic. Like, you know, in terms of performance, like Penn And Teller, Mac King, David Copperfield, all those guys.
For anyone listening that doesn't know who Matt King is,
Yeah.
don't like click off this video or podcast you're listening to right now. Okay, just finish this thing because we want the watch time. But afterwards, look up Matt King.
Mm-hmm.
Just look him up. Trust me. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Sorry.
Couldn't have said it better.
Guy's a fucking genius, man. And he just looks like such a dork, but then you actually watch him and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah. I had the privilege of actually watching him live.
Yeah.
I'll get into that when we. So yeah, I get into Vegas. I go to Vegas, and yeah, the first thing I remember is coming out of the flight, and the first thing I saw in Vegas airport was a slot machine. So the second I walk out of my airplane, I see a slot machine.
And
So
you gambled all your money.
no, it just gave me a sense of the place.
Right.
The entire city is literally a casino. Yeah, and it was it's got my bags. Actually met someone there who was in the airport. I met somebody else who was at the Gold Coast convention. And he also obviously was on Fool Us, clearly.
That's cool.
So that was nice. It was nice to run into him. Pierre, I don't know if you know him. Pierre. So yeah, we both were picked up and driven to the Rio Hotel. That's where the Penn And Teller Theater is, and the hotel is.
Yeah.
And just on the drive, even, you know, seeing David Copperfield's billboard,
Was this your first time in the US? Or?
Yeah, first time in the States. Yeah, and just seeing there was on the way, I remember there's this the Rio Hotel. It's a big building, and the entire building is just covered with Penn And Teller's poster. And on the drive there, I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to be performing for these two.
Yeah.
It's really surreal experience. Just driving to the hotel.
I remember you saying that you got to see like the the engineering department or whatever that they have, or it was like the workshop.
The workshop.
Yeah, I mean, as a magician, I know they got like a full staff of people just coming up with shit for them.
Absolutely.
But you know, to hear be like, oh yeah, there's, you know, it's like a factory or some shit. Like it's, you know, it's like, oh, they got a floor for it. You know, like, oh god damn.
Yeah, that's the green room. That's where the Foolish performers. That's where you wait before you're called up to perform on the stage. And yeah, he has literally, I think they have I think at that time 4 or 5 engineers like literally working on illusions in the workshop. And you can see all, like, if you've seen Penn And Teller.
Bro, I would go just to go in that room, look around and be like, sweet, I'm not going to perform. I'm not getting up on stage. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know I'm scheduled in the next 5 minutes. I'm not going to, you know, sorry guys, I tripped and fell. Like, it is what it is. I've seen this room. I'm okay.
Yeah, dude. It was like that. It was like that.
That's
like,
crazy.
If you've seen any Penn And Teller like performances, and you know, like famous props of theirs, all of them were visible. You could it's like the legit props. It was just a very like beautiful just thing to see.
Nerding out just thinking about it.
Yeah. So yeah, I landed in Vegas, went to the hotel, had a just, you know, chilled out, and then I remember that evening I smoked marijuana. Is that okay to say?
100%.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I guess in New Zealand it's still technically not legal, but well, fuck that.
Well, I you know, I flew out 5 minutes ago and came back, and it was in an illegal country.
Yeah.
Smoked it there and came back here. So that was all happened in 5 minutes, and I'm high as we speak. Okay, so
great.
Yeah,
sweet, works out. And also,
and I'm not actually high, but it wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah, great. And also, like, you know, I'm with the
yeah. Anyways,
I smoked weed in a legal country. The story
cool,
is
cool.
So
All right.
in Vegas.
Well, I got a story for you in an illegal country in a second, so let's keep going. Yeah.
So yeah, so weed's legal in Vegas, and I was like, you know, let's go to a marijuana shop. That was pretty much the first thing I went to. And man, beautiful shop, dude. Like, wow, literally anything you can imagine marijuana related was there. And I have relatively low tolerance. So I just spoke to the guy and I was like, can I have like, lowest THC content, something that's like chill me out. I'll just, buy a joint. And I bought 2-3 joints. And he was like, yeah, I'll give you the lowest. I was like 20% THC or something. And
that's still quite high, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I remember like reading the label because it's like almost like a medicine box.
Oh yeah, we'll give you the lowest thing we have. Hands you over a dab. You're like,
literally, man.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, I just started smoking the joint, walking on the Vegas Strip. My first night in Vegas, it was such a magical experience. It's like, I can't even describe it really.
Yeah.
And it started to rain, and I'm like high in Vegas, walking. That was great. Good time.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty mild for Vegas. I mean, to be honest, just smoking a joint on the strip, like, you could be like snorting lines in the fucking, at like 4 a.m. or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, the debauchery, I guess for better or worse, didn't participate in.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely, that was definitely.
I mean, I think your mental health is probably like thankful for that in any case. But yeah.
True. And that I also went to see David Copperfield that night. Which was a good time. I won't speak too much for the show, and David Copperfield, obviously, one of the biggest magicians in the world. But yeah, it was just, cool to see the illusions. Like he made a dinosaur appear.
Yeah.
He made all kinds of things appear and disappear, which was great.
Which is kind of what he does. But
that's his thing.
Yeah.
That, and just, the whole vibe, that first night. Got lost while walking on the strip, got rained on. Yeah, I was like drenched. I was like wearing my Batman hoodie and like Converse shoes, these like dirty Converse shoes. And I was lost, like, because I was high. And I like walked into this.
I swear I walked past this building 3 times now.
And the weird thing about Vegas is on Uber, the car just doesn't come to where you are. You have to go to specific locations where you can get an Uber from. It's really weird.
Is it like the streets are blocked or you can't?
I don't even know.
Maybe it's like a walking areas and I don't know.
Yeah. So I had to like find the place where I could get an Uber from.
Oh, God.
And I walked into this, I don't know if you've seen Ocean's 11, the Bellagio. That's where this Bellagio, that's where they stole it's like a really fancy casino.
Right.
Like super fancy. I walked in there in my like, I smell a stink of weed and I'm drenched in like rain. And I'm high, and all the people around me, there's like the highest, like, like upper class, like vibe, like people wearing like the most like extravagant clothing and like super, super rich people. I was just like watching a blackjack table and they were like betting like thousands of dollars, like $50,000 on like one hand stuff.
Oh,
and I'm
geez.
like, what am I doing here? And
can I buy into this table real quick?
So I got an Uber, went back. On the way, I met the producers, and I was like already in a pretty like high anxious state. And I they were like walking in front of me, and I was like, oh, those guys look like the producers. And I just like didn't think of it much, and then I walked past them. I was like, maybe I'll just like look behind just to check if that's them. Second, I looked behind, it was both of them. And I just like was like, oh no, I have to talk to them now. And
Did they recognize you?
They recognized me instantly. God. So I spoke to them for like half an hour, and they could tell I was super nervous. And they were even like, you look really nervous. Is there something we can do to like calm you down? And I was like, well, I'm just nervous. This is a big deal for me, etc., etc. And then I calmed down.
But you were performing not that day, right? Surely.
No. Yeah, so I arrived on Monday, and I think I was due to perform on Thursday. So plenty of time. Yeah, dude. That was just first night, Vegas. And then over the next few days, we had rehearsals in the stage, just getting to see.
How many rehearsals did you do total?
I was lucky because I got more rehearsal time because I had a few more days. Some people were just there for a couple of days, like come in one day, rehearse next day, perform the next day and out. So it was very quick for some people, but they gave me a good 5-6 days, which is really nice. I had one rehearsal on stage in the middle of the week, and then one more rehearsal on the day of the performance.
That's not so bad then. Like, if you have rehearsals, it almost feels a bit more familiar.
Absolutely, 100%.
That's not too bad.
Makes a huge difference. And we also had like rehearsals outside of the theater with the producers and the director and like all these other producers and stuff like that.
That's got to be a bit nerve-wracking though.
That was pretty scary. It was actually, that wasn't so scary for me because I mean, I knew that what I was going to do in the next few days was significantly scarier. I figured that this would be quite a useful thing.
Yeah, true.
And what happened in that rehearsal actually was quite interesting. It was a very, they didn't talk much about the magic per se. It was more about like, how are we going to like make this work on TV? So they were like talking about like, put your hand over here for the camera to catch that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they significantly changed quite a few elements of the routine, in terms of like pacing. Like my original performance of it before it was like modified for Fool Us was a lot slower and a lot more like, I think the tension and the energy was slowly building up, and then they would get released in that performance.
Right.
But for Fool Us specifically, they wanted to really hurry it up, which is fair enough. It's television.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much that rehearsal, and that was an interesting experience. Did that, and it was also it was also cool to see other magicians who were performing and on Fool Us, like running into them. Like, I don't know if you know Jimmy Ichihana.
Oh, yeah.
That guy does like card stuff.
Yeah.
You know Handro, a Spanish magician who's fooled them like 3 times.
Is he the guy?
He did the Lego.
Lego
Thing.
Bro, I've probably reacted to every single name you're saying, but I'm just terrible at remembering
fair
shit.
enough.
So yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm sure if I see it, I'll recognize it.
Yeah, made a friend as well. This guy called Blaze. He works with Shin Lim and Colin Cloud on their Limitless
on the new show. Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. He also worked with him on America's Got Talent, Shin Lim.
Yeah.
And yeah,
that guy Shin fucking killed it with all those shows, man. Like I think a lot of guys get fucked up by the weird like things they got to sign, and like they sign away a lot of rights, like like America's Got Talent like fucking owns your ass.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
He was telling me about that actually. He was like, yeah, dude. And apparently they asked him several years in a row to come on.
Wow.
And he was just like, nah.
Oh, okay.
Change your thing. And like his mom was very.
Oh, good.
His mom is like you. I can still talk to her, right? Like I probably can't talk to Shin like anytime because he's. But if I call his mom, she'll be like, "What's going on?" You know, like she's so like onto shit, man. But yeah, yeah. So she like apparently like solved that whole issue.
Amazing.
And, he only went on when they were like the papers were on his terms.
Wow.
Yeah. Very
good
smart,
on him.
Very smart.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Asian mothers, man. Telling you.
Yeah. Oh, good. That sounds. I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Because these shows generally like do that. Hey, they're like.
I'm sure Fool Us didn't, but yeah.
No, Fool Us was very supportive of magicians. I think they really. One of the best things about performing on Fool Us was how encouraging everyone was. Like cast, crew, production, everybody was. They really wanted you to feel comfortable and do the best job that you possibly could, which is really encouraging. And like it made me feel a lot better. Like it felt like everybody was supporting me rather than like, trying to fight me, which is a huge difference in any production.
Yeah.
Hung out with Colin Cloud.
Oh yeah.
I had like lunch with him and stuff.
Oh yeah. How was he? Because he seemed like when he came to the convention and stuff, I sort of went up to him and just like give him a fist bump and stuff. But he seemed very like, I don't know. It was very hard to like catch his vibe. I couldn't quite figure him out.
Yeah.
He was very like cool.
Yeah. No, he was great, man.
Yeah?
Like he was. I guess one of the interesting things like this, I really felt this when I was there. I was every magician I was interacting with just automatically gave you like this like base level a higher amount of respect because you were on Fool Us.
Makes sense.
I think that's probably skewed Colin Cloud's like sort of attitude towards me in a more positive way. He was super nice and he was like real friendly.
That thing happens for you two as well. Like I think because like Colin didn't know who I was, but when I walked up to Shin, he was like he turned to Casey and was like, oh, he's the guy that we've seen. He does like the reactions, and so I was like, oh, sweet,
Yeah.
So they instantly were like open to like hang out. Whatever, So
Cool.
I think that's familiarity is a big thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was nice, man. It was like really great having a chat with him. Like it was an extended chat because he'd come to help Blaze for his act because Blaze was performing on Fool Us as well, and he was helping him out on for his act, and he was just hanging out when we were rehearsing.
Yeah.
So we had lunch and
The thing that I'm sad about, well, not sad about, but it's just like, dude, like the amount of makeup that guy has to wear. Colin Cloud, bro, when he walked off the stage and he came like just hung out, bro, he was like a ghost.
Really?
Like he had so much fucking powder on. I was just like, holy shit, man.
Wow.
Like I don't like, you know, that's the one thing I'm like, yeah, fuck that. We tried with Amy one time to do like a emo mentalism look, and the amount of time it took to do the eyeliner and like how much it poked my eyes and shit, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this again. There's no chance.
Wow.
So any performers that do the whole eyeliner shit, like I'm just like, hats off to you, but I'm not going there again. Like it took so long. I was just so bored. It's terrible.
That sounds
like
not a good time. That sounds awful.
Yeah, man. Just fuck that. I'll just rock up how I rock up, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't think he had any makeup on when we were.
Yeah, I assume he doesn't wear it 24/7. But yeah.
It was good. Good hanging out with him. Went for Mac King's show, which was amazing. I don't want to speak too much about David Copperfield and Mac King, but there was a clear difference in the way Mac King treated and interacted with his audience as compared to David Copperfield. And
what he's saying is David Copperfield's a fucking piece of shit. No. I think when you do like whatever, how many, like 600 shows a year or whatever the fuck David Copperfield does, like for the last 25 years or 40, I don't even know how many years he's been performing, but he's just been doing output, man.
Yeah.
I don't understand how anyone can maintain that sort of output. Like, I guess he's making money.
Yeah.
And he's making, he's fucking buying islands and shit. But like, I don't know if even if I could afford an island, like, would I still be like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I would.
It's like you were saying, right? Like, if you're making lots of money, but you're not enjoying what you're doing, what's the point?
Exactly. And like, I guess you get to a certain point where that's your whole identity.
Yeah.
And it becomes something that's like if I'm not this, who am I?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
absolutely.
It's like, dude, just take some acid or something. Jesus Christ, dude, just chill the fuck out, Like, oh, man.
Yeah, I think he was trying to, I spoke to Colin Cloud actually about this. And Colin Cloud was like, I think he's just trying to break the record for most shows done. I think he was just churning them out.
That's so magician-like.
Yeah.
Like just trying to be like in the books for something, you
know?
know?
Absolutely.
It drives me nuts, dude. Drives me absolutely nuts, dude. Like, I've said this before, I don't care if I'm never remembered once I die. I just care about impacting people and having fun. Like, if people around me while I'm alive, like, are better off because I'm there, then why do I care about anything else? Why do I care about being a Houdini? He's dead.
Yeah.
He can't see the fact that we're talking about him.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, each magician to himself, I guess. But Mac King was a beautiful, beautiful magician. Like, he's also been, I think I recently saw a post that he put up on Instagram, and he's been doing 25 years residency in Vegas, which is a long time. And the way he spoke to his audience and the way
how big was the audience for Mac King?
Yeah, sadly. So I went to David Copperfield, house full, big theater, $60 ticket, I think, for those, like, the lowest.
Big theater, what are we talking?
I don't even remember. It was quite big. It's quite huge.
A few thousand?
Yeah.
Couple thousand?
Possibly. Like, at least that much. And it was in the MGM thing, hotel, whatever. And Mac King was in this smallish theater. I think like maximum 100 people, 200 people.
But
and
that's so much more intimate as well. Like,
yeah. But I think the people who actually came, I think the crowd itself was 20 people.
Wow.
It was not a big. It wasn't a matinee show, so in the afternoon. But even then, the energy that he gave, the effort that he put in, the dedication and joy with which he worked throughout that show, even though it was just 20 people, and he's been doing this for 20 plus years at that point in a residency in Vegas, and the respect he showed to the audience and the show itself was inspiring. Just really, really beautiful, and I came out of it feeling so great.
That's again, man, back to what I'm saying. If you love what you do, it doesn't matter if you're not selling out, 2,000 seats.
Absolutely.
Because the guy clearly has passion for what he does. So, yeah, man.
And great show. Definitely check out Mac King. Beautiful. Arguably, not even arguably, like most likely the best comedy magician in the world, I would say. I can't think of anybody else really who could delivers the term comedy magician with the quality that Mac King does. Without I think lots of comedy magicians do comedy well but magic badly, or do magic well but comedy badly, but he
Yeah.
does both really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I'm trying to break that niche a little bit. And I'm really failing.
Well, I mean,
What I do, okay, this is my go-to, all right? So I come up with an idea of like a joke, and then I just say the joke, and then I hide behind a trick Nick after it. You know what I mean? Like it's like if it bombs, it doesn't matter because here's the ace of spades. Yeah. You know? So yeah. I don't think I figured that out yet, and I don't want to go the classic. Like I was looking at I had some. We're working for the Something Magic 4, which is a open mic night for magicians in Auckland, but it's like a well-rehearsed sort of stuff with experimental material, which you've been basically the brain behind. And I'm trying to like, I was like, oh, I want to do a mentalism act, which is sort of like the magic of mind reading. And I was looking through all my mentalism material in my books, and I was like, oh, dude, I don't know if I can do it. Like, it's just like, it's just so serious, bro. Like, it's so like pretentious. Like, that's really what it is for me. Like, it's so pretentious. Like, I don't know if I can feel good doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I looked at some comedy mentalism material, and I was like, oh, this is funny. But also it's a lot of hack stuff. Like, I had to really sift through a bunch of shit to be like, oh, I could see that being like somewhat self-aware and funny. But a lot of it is just hacky, bro.
Yeah.
Just so much just trash. Like, let's put it that way.
All right.
So, yeah, I know what you're saying. It's very like comedy magic is very like, just steal jokes, bro. It's fine. Just steal a line from some guy.
Yeah.
It's like, that really, it's like magic has always been about, as far as I can tell, about curating, right? Like, you curate information, and then you sort of process it and put it together in a way that's somehow unique. Whereas comedy has always been about like innovating and being completely unique. Like, there's a whole culture of like stealing jokes, which is completely frowned upon in comedy, right?
Yeah.
But then magicians, when they do comedy magic, they just look at it like magic. They just go, oh, I'll just take that. Oh, which hand is it in? Oh, no, sorry. Give me your hand. No, the clean one. Kill me, dude. Just end my life.
What's that? What's the other one? Where are you from? Oh, I'm sorry. And like, so this answer the question.
okay.
Like, where are you from?
Romania.
I'm sorry.
Romania.
No, I'm just sorry to hear that from Romania. That's such a classic joke.
It's so bad, dude. Yeah. But it's like, the problem is that if it was just one person doing it, okay, fair. But it's like everyone does these lines.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, come up with your own shit, bro. Like, it's like, I understand card tricks are like, there's only so many physical ways you can manipulate a pack of cards.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But come up with your own shit, you know?
Yeah, it's a rampant across magic. I think magic just has this. Magicians just have this. I don't know, man. Like, we were talking about acting, right? Like, I think magic needs good quality acting, because that's what magic is. Magic is. There's a Robert Houdin, famous magician. He has this very famous quote. I don't know why it's not like people don't talk about it as much anymore. But the quote is, a magician is an actor playing the role of a magician. And I think that's a really key element of magic, which people are just sort of ignoring now. I think people just focus on the magic, but what really enhances the whole experience of that magic is the emotion that you bring into it, the acting, any kind of acting. Doesn't have to be one kind, but like comedy or drama, whatever. But I think that's a key element. And to do that, you have to be authentic. You have to be like, you have to be true to yourself. Yeah. And you can't just take lines and make them your own. It just doesn't work like that.
That drives me nuts, dude. Like, yeah. I mean, it's one thing. Anyways, we could talk about this forever, but it's the same sort of idea of like, when you see someone that's really, really good, it's because they're being unique and they're being authentically unique. Like, it's not, you can tell that it's not like when I watch Rob Zabrecky. Yeah.
Great.
He's playing a character.
Yeah.
I mean, he started in theater, as far as I understand.
Music. He was a musician.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But
then
then
also an actor, I think.
Yeah, I think he did like actual theater acting. Yeah. Because when I went to his lecture, and it was a little too early for me, that lecture.
Yeah.
Because I sat there and I was like, this is fucking boring.
2017,
This is boring. Yeah. This was like, I was doing magic on YouTube, but I hadn't started performing yet. And like, this was kind of partly due to my fucking social anxiety and like, it was about that was like the YouTube kind of marked the point where I dealt with my social anxiety like that. When I started YouTube, I still had major social anxiety issues, and like I wouldn't perform, I wouldn't meet new people, you know what I mean? It was like this sort of, and then like through this, well, a lot of things aligned in my life where I was like, fuck this, I need to deal with this shit. And so like the magic was this kind of a symbol or like one of the mediums through which I sort of expressed that like exploration of like, I don't really give a fuck what people think.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I think it was just a lot of the people experienced that in high school and stuff like that. And it's like, it's not really a unique experience of just being like afraid of looking weird.
Yeah.
And whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so for me, it was like, okay, now I'm ready to perform after like 8 years of doing magic,
Wow.
you know, or whatever
8
it was.
years.
I think, I started at 12, so I would have been 7 years ish.
Wow.
So I was just like move monkey, sit in my room, watch YouTube, do card tricks.
Yeah.
Whenever someone would ask, can I see a card trick? I was like, oh, I don't have my cards on me. There's a bulge of cards in my pocket. You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
yeah, it was that was rampant throughout my high school
Damn,
stuff. Yeah, and like
interesting.
with the times I would perform, I would be like legitimately like methed out, like high afterwards. I'd be like, holy fuck, I did a trick.
Yeah.
You know, I was so like, it was such a big thing for me back then.
Damn.
Yeah. So anyways, that was sort of like right after I was like, okay, I'm going to put myself out there. And even like when I posted my first video, I remember having like low key panic attacks of being like, I'm like, no, I don't care. I'm posting, press post. And it was like, there was a lot of that battling with it.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, I'll get people like, I'll come to your house and shoot you. All right, bro. You know, like I'll get their threats and stuff. It's like, I don't like, it does nothing to me anymore. It's like, I've seen it all.
Wow.
I've heard it all. It's fine. You know, whatever the fuck.
Damn.
You know, so
that's a huge improvement. Dude.
huge. Yeah. But it became, I had to do that over and over and over again for me to be just like, okay, I don't.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, some comment will hit too deep and I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't be reading these motherfuckers. You know, there's not for me to read. It's not like, they're for other people to read, not for me.
Absolutely.
But anyway, that's besides the point. When you're starting a social media thing, you sort of have to interact with the community so that you have to expose yourself on some level.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's say, Rob Zabirki. So he had this whole lecture at this convention. So conventions for people that aren't magicians are like just nerd fests of just magicians coming together and like doing magic for each other and staying up till 3 a.m. and like people doing lectures of like, these are my tricks that you can buy. You know, and like trying to sell trying to sell their tricks to you, or like trying to teach you something. But that's kind of rare, to be honest. Most lectures are just like people flogging their own material.
Yeah. It's
so
like telesales, you know, like
pretty much.
That's how this works so well. Buy it.
Yeah, and then you buy it and you never use it because it's actually trash.
Yeah.
It's very common.
It's amazing how you get influenced in the moment in those lectures and be like, yeah, this is so great.
Oh, I could use this, and then you like you find out the method. And you're like, yeah, that's never gonna work. So anyway, Rob Zabirki didn't teach anything, no magic at all. He just went on and on about creating a character, acting, and like. You know, taking your audience. I can't even remember all of it, but like taking your audience through an emotional journey and all this stuff. And I was like, this is, you know, I was just like, this is trash, dude. I love your performances, but please show me some magic. And now looking back, I'm like, God damn, I wish I paid attention. I wish I took some notes. I want to fucking call him and talk to him about it. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, because I realize how useful that is. And like, actually, I realized the potency of his advice. But back then I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, man. I remember actually feeling really happy about that lecture because there was no magic in that lecture and he was going to talk about this specifically. And I think I personally got a lot out of that lecture. And I remember buying like a little booklet on like how to create drama in your magic. And I remember reading that booklet as well. But yeah, great point. It's so much more valuable, I find, like when a magician sort of talks more about their process and their own sort of like journey as a magician rather than just sell you tricks.
Yeah, but I mean, it's only valuable for people that have taken that journey.
Yeah,
you know, and that's like if you're just some guy on the fringe, where it's like, oh yeah, I know moves.
Yeah,
and it's like you don't really understand. It's like, yeah, I'm a magician. I know moves. It's like you don't really understand like what actually goes into it.
Yeah,
and what goes into it to become good.
Yeah,
because there's that difference of like someone just performing tricks to someone that's like Matt King level kind of guy.
Yeah,
and it's like that journey is kind of everything, but no one really like. It's very rare that Ken Webb's book Showmanship or something.
Oh yeah. Henning Nelms. Magic and Showmanship?
I think so. I thought it was Ken Wade. I don't know. Maybe I'm
probably another one,
misremembering. Yeah,
similar
but
one.
anyway, there's a bunch of books like that where it's like, okay, there's some things that it's like, okay, it talks about showmanship, talks about performance, but realistically, it's just most of Magic is just like a bunch of trick books, and you know, and that's useful because you need those for references and indexing and like coming up with methods. But the method's only like a certain amount of the trick, and like people don't get that. And like I honestly started realizing that doing the same trick over and over and over again at like while working gigs. Yeah. Because I would do the same trick for the 400th time and still figuring out ways to make it better. You know, and I realized like, okay, so for example, if I like, let's say there's a trick where I get you to pick your card and you find it. Yeah. It's so much stronger, I've realized, if when you touch the card that you've selected and I know it's going to be your card, but I look at it and I go, wait, you picked the 3 of hearts. And then they go, no, it was a diamond. Oh, no, sorry, before I look at it, you picked the 3 of hearts. No, it was the diamond. Oh, really? Oh, I don't know. You take a look. I don't know. And then they look at it and it's the 3 of diamonds. Yeah. The fact that I got it wrong just makes that so much stronger because it couldn't have been me then. I clearly knew the wrong card. Yeah. So it must have been them somehow. Yeah. Right? So there's so many little details that you find and like little like hits and little like tags you can add and like little comedic points. And like you don't only get that from performing a bunch of times. Absolutely. And like the same thing a bunch of times. Yeah. And so if you've never done that, you're like, oh, what is there to it? You just do the move. Yeah. And absolutely. Yeah. It's really hard to see.
And I think that's one of the tough things about once you go on that journey and you realize that it's only after like so many performances where you actually get the like magic juice of that trick really sort of like flowing. That's why it makes creating new material so difficult. Yeah. Developing new stuff so hard because you know that when you're like starting a new sort of every new magic trick is like a whole journey that you're going to go on to really find that magic in that trick because you know that 5 performances won't give you that information. You need like a good solid amount of like performances to really get that feedback to realize where the magic in that trick lies. And I think that's what makes making new material specifically in magic so challenging because you have to put yourself out there constantly trying to create new stuff. And that's, just wanted to point that out. Yeah. So talking about magic juice. So you go through all that and then it gets to fucking show night. Yeah, that's right. Before yeah. Yeah, man. Oh, I just can't even describe that whole process, like experience.
Did you like dissociate a little bit?
A little bit.
Because I struggle with like remaining present and well performing because my body would be like, I'm so nervous. I'm just going to zoom. Yeah. I'm like, all of a sudden I'm like out of body sort of.
It kind of felt like that. Like, so I was feeling pretty like, what's the word for it? Confident because Michael Close, you know Michael Close, right?
I'm bad with names, but
he's the main, him and Johnny Thompson, the late Johnny Thompson, were the main magic consultants on Fool Us. And they're the ones who select the magicians. They're the ones who work with the magicians to improve the act and stuff like that. And it was an honor working with Michael Close. He's really well respected. Penn And Teller obviously have a huge respect for him. And Michael Close was very complimentary about my act. He was like, this is really great magic, man. Really, really like good stuff and stuff like that. So I was feeling really good about myself. So in that sense, I was feeling pretty confident. But obviously, my only concern, this is my biggest thing, was I was just feeling terrified that I would mess up. I was just like,
aren't we all?
Yeah, man.
I have nightmares about that shit, man.
All I could think about was like, don't mess up. That's all I could think about. Because it was such a huge opportunity and it would suck to come out this far and then just not and like fail the trick. So I didn't really care how I was going to perform. I didn't really care about all of those things. I just was like, just execute. Just make sure you don't fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was, I think the day, I slept reasonably well the night before, which is surprising. You know, I slept like pretty much the whole night. Our call time was 10 a.m. and I was slated to perform at around 3:30 p.m. So we went to the workshop area. Just hung out there. It was really interesting because there are all these. So they did 2 shows on filming days. So they did 4 performers in the morning show, and then 4 performers in the evening show. That's how they make it work, right? And we had a bit of a rehearsal in the morning as well, which was nice. And the people who were performing in my set of 4 were me, this wonderful lady from Australia called Helen Coughlin. She's fooled them 3 times as well.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's the one who organized the Gold Coast convention.
She's not the one with the heart trick, is she?
I don't know.
Again, I'm bad with names. I have to look her up. But yeah, that's right.
And you know how like magicians get showgirls, like wearing like scantily, like nothing and like dancing. So she got like for her thing, she got like these like male stripper dudes, like gigantic buff ass. I think they have a show in Vegas called Thunder Down Under.
Right.
They're like Australian, like super hot, like big buff Australian dudes, and they have that energy about them as well.
Yeah.
So it was me and these like Australian dudes, and her and a couple of other magicians hanging out in that workshop area. And I was the last performer of that group. So I saw all of them go up, do their thing, they leave, and so it was me and the and the whole time
I just imagine you like getting your time wrong. So you walk up with the male stripper dudes, and you're like, oh fuck, I'm on camera. All right, it's live TV. All right, I got to do something. And you just start moving.
I look like a child in front of them, dude, like a 10-year-old, and they look, man, it was just very like
they're all roided up. It's great. Yeah, I love it. Gotta love it.
And the whole time what I was doing, this is like one of the I think beautiful parts of that whole experience for me. I think for at least 2 hours straight, I was just pacing and listening to this mantra that my grandmother taught me when I was really young, and I was just in that zone, just doing that the whole time, just to sort of I don't know, I guess spiritually prepare myself for what was about to happen. And yeah, so, and I throughout this whole week as well, every time I felt like it, I would just practice my routine. I set myself like a daily target of 20 rehearsals. So I would rehearse 20 times.
That's a lot more than people think.
Yeah, because if it's a 5-6 minute act, 6 times 20, that's 120 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to rehearse 20 times, it's 2.5 hours, 3 hours of rehearsal every day, minimum.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just had to work that hard. I just felt like if I didn't work that hard, I just would not be satisfied with my prep. In hindsight, I think I worked too hard, to be honest, but that's hindsight, that's only hindsight can tell you that. And so then what happens is you're downstairs, they take you up via lift to the, just outside the theater. And then they put you in this production room where the post-production people are working on those interview things in the start of that also happened the night before. So they filmed my whole interview thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really cool experience, actually. I'll talk about that later. Where they do the little tricks and stuff. That whole thing where they ask
the
you
intro
questions.
And
Yeah. That actually I to be fair, didn't quite enjoy, because the guy who was doing that thing for me, he's just had this whole angle that he wanted to focus on.
Which they would.
That's and I think that wasn't the best representation of me, but it represented me authentically enough for me to be okay with it.
Yeah.
Anyways, we can talk about that later. Man, so I'm practicing my trick just because it's 5 minutes before I go on, and I'm just this is the moment, right? And I'm just practicing it, and until now I've not messed up at all.
Oh, here we go.
And just before going on 5 minutes, I mess up. I'm doing an Emsley count. I'm doing an Emsley count, dude. It's something like this, where those, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and what was you've seen the trick, and there's marks that I draw, and the thing is, the whole time I was practicing in New Zealand, I was using my own marker, but that marker was not this whole production thing. You can't show that brand marker. They don't have permission to show that marker's brand on.
This is the start of the nightmare, bro. I know it went well, so I'm I'm not too stressed, but this is where in your head when you're performing or you're practicing and you're I hope it all goes well. This is the shit that plays in my head. I'm what if like two cards stick together and and then just my mind starts fucking spiraling.
Yeah.
I know exactly what this is. Go
Exactly.
for it.
So,
oh god.
The new marker they gave me was the ink was really liquid
And it
ink.
didn't stick.
And yeah, so what happens? So the ink would just make the two cards stick, and so man, like I had to make sure I like blew the fuck out of that ink when I drew those marks just to make sure that the like I could do that without the cards sticking. But yeah, I mean, good thing I messed up in there. Rather than you know on stage.
But yeah, those fucking variables that you just never think about, and then all of a
Absolutely.
sudden you're just fucked up in front of 3,000 people. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man, on international camera and shit.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, I went on. I remember like waiting outside the just before to go in to the theater, and there's this like security guard, this like big ass dude just looking at me, and I'm like holding my like close up hat and like my magic stuff, and like looking nervous as fuck. And he's like, "How are you feeling?" And I'm like, "Yeah, pretty nervous." And then I was like, "Hey man," I was like, I asked him, I was like, "Is this your job? Like just to like look at people get super nervous before before going on stage?" He's like, "Yeah, pretty much."
That's why I get paid the big bucks.
Yeah. And so then I walked in to the stage. The person before me finished performing. She had fooled them. They don't let you know. They don't let the next performer know whether the previous performer fooled them or not, just so you don't get nervous or
So
whatever.
you don't hear anything that's happening on stage?
You can hear like crowd reacting and stuff, but that's it. You could hear the crowd reacting even from the workshop in the downstairs area. So yeah, I walk in, I can see like they didn't do a very good job of hiding the fact that she fooled them. So you could see that. And then the crew starts working for the next act. So the crew's already like they've rehearsed with you before, so they know like the whole process. They're gonna like they know what they need to bring on stage. They know what they need to take out. It's all like works like clockwork. It's a really like professional, well-oiled machine. And most of the crew, I spoke to them quite a bit throughout the whole process. Most of the crew had been working on the show for like 4 or 5 seasons. So they all knew each other really well, and there was a really well-oiled machine. They like it was working really, really like beautifully. So yeah, I walk on. I see Penn sitting over there, gives me a huge smile, which made me feel really good. And Teller was on the stage. He was just walking off the stage just to sort of this thing. He gave me like a little like namaste. Like, all right, Teller, namaste.
Oh God.
And yeah, I see them. The crowd is there, and you know, generally in my past, when I've expected to be on a stage, any kind of stage, I'm always a little bit nervous about the stage. And then when I go and see the stage, I'm like, oh, okay, it's not as big as I thought it would be. But in the case of Penn and Teller Theatre, that's the opposite. I remember just walking on stage and just seeing how like fancy everything was. And I remember looking up and just, you know, like leaning my head up like that. And all I could see was seats.
Jesus.
And it was just such a overwhelming atmosphere. And Alison Hannigan obviously is there. Like the whole, and then the camera starts like, they just get into it really. Like they didn't even ask me if I was ready. They just like, because they were expecting me to be ready. Like, and I was ready, but obviously, you know, you need a moment to just sort of get yourself, you know, bearings and just like realize what you're doing. And I remember Michael Close telling me the day of the rehearsal, he was like, these 5-6 minutes of your performance are going to go by so quickly, you're not going to remember anything. So just make sure before you start, you take a deep breath and you just settle yourself and like just enjoy the experience as much as you can. And so that was my focus, trying to do that. But despite the extreme nervousness I was feeling at that point. And and then Alison Hannigan walks, like it was like rehearsed in such a way that she would walk to me like, and with the previously pre-selected host of the show, we have Dev Sherman, and then the camera would come on me and I would begin the process. And I really just don't remember
much after.
No, like I remember like, I obviously have seen it now, so I know that this thing, but I just remember just going through it and just that relief that I felt the second, oh dude, there's this moment before the end, like the end of the trick where I don't reveal the end of the trick, but there's this fear that I often had throughout the process of that trick was, I hope I got the right card. Because even though it's like foolproof, more or less, there's still that, I guess, it depends on a very subtle part of the trick where I have to make sure that my eyes saw that part properly.
Mm.
And I had a feeling that I'd got it wrong.
Oh man.
I had a feeling that I hope I got it right. It was just I hope I got it right. And I remember like just really hoping against hope that when I turn that card over, it says the right card. And luckily it did.
Yeah.
It did. But I just remember feeling extreme relief. Like I've never felt relief like that in my life.
Yeah. I
Turn the
know
card over.
exactly what you're talking about. You like, let's say you like peek a card or some shit.
Yeah.
And it's like you didn't quite see it.
Yeah.
But you're like pretty sure you know what the fuck you saw. And you're like, well, you know, and if that's what your whole trick like lands on, you know,
Yeah.
you're like, oh God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man.
So yeah, luckily it was the right card.
My palms are sweaty right now. I swear to God. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was terrifying. Like
Yeah.
that was just that moment, and then that relief was just like a roller coaster. And then yeah, we had the interview, post thingy interview. As soon as after you finish performing, I remember just feeling really great at that point. I have no idea what I said. I just remember feeling so blank, like completely blank.
Yeah, you're like, I don't give a fuck if I fooled you guys. I did the trick, babe.
Yeah, exactly. And I also remember like what's the word for it? Yeah. If you watch the video, you'll see my face when he's talking to me, and you can just see that I have like no idea what he's saying. My face is completely like blank. Like there's like no emotion, nothing. I'm just like, I don't know. It's completely. I actually don't remember a single word he said to me throughout that whole process. But I remember just looking out for like what he would he would say that would know that I didn't fool them. Just that. I was just looking for like, I just knew like there'd be a couple of things he would say that if he says this, then he didn't fool me. But he didn't say that. So I was like they didn't obviously, luckily, like thankfully they didn't show. You know, often like in Fool Us, sometimes the guy goes like, I don't think you got it right.
Yeah.
I was one of those people.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I did it very like sweetly. Like, so I was like, yeah, I think you got most of it, except for the like 5 of diamonds part. Like, I don't know like about the 5 of diamonds. And then they like went into their deliberation again. And you know, it's a very awkward moment. Even Alison Hannigan was like, I don't know what to say. Like she was like, you know. And I remember just saying like, it's okay. I'm fine not fooling you. Like if you think you got it, you got it. And then in his discussion, like I could just hear, they were not that far away. Penn and Teller, like Penn just saying something, which was what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And I was like, I heard him say, and I was like, oh, I heard you. You got it. You got it. And then they were all happy. And then it's like, they just redid that last part of me just being like,
I heard you got it. Yeah, nice.
And then I walked off stage and I got to say hello to Penn and Teller. It was very brief. Teller was just like, good job, man. And he just looked a little bit angry, actually. Because I think he'd just been fooled by the previous thing. And I don't think they were happy about being fooled by them. They take it very seriously, apparently, the whole fooling thing. Teller was just like, good job, man. And he just like literally walked away. Same with Penn. He is so tall. Penn is like, I think he could reach that light.
Jesus.
He was just gigantic. I just remember looking up and be like, hello. And like, nice to meet you. He didn't even look at me. He was just like, nice to meet you, and just walked away. Classic celebrity, this thing. But yeah, that was it. And then for me, the most beautiful part was once I finished that whole thing, Michael Close came to me and he was like, great job, man. Like really, really beautiful. Super proud of you, etc. And then I was walking back to my hotel, and I was the last performer of my hotel room. And I was the last performer of that show. And so the whole crowd was coming out at the same time. And while I was walking out to my hotel room and the crowd was there, everyone was like cheering for me. They were like super like
nice,
encouraging and supportive. They were like, good job, man, well done. People came up to me, like gave me high fives and shit. Like all the way pretty much to my room, which was like really, really beautiful experience.
Bro, I would have never never would have made it to my room. I would have just stood on the street all day, you know, like, hey, woo.
Yeah. And oh man, that was actually like one of the most beautiful moments.
Nice,
really wonderful experience. And then I just remember like I had planned to like go out that night.
Yeah.
Because I was like, yeah, I'm going to party, dude. Like, fuck, I've done Fool Us. And I remember just going into my room and I messaged my family like, look, it's done. Like I did it. I didn't mess up. I messaged Morris and stuff like, hey, it happened. It's done. Like, I think I spent like 15, 20 minutes just in that, like just sharing that news. And I just lied on my bed just to, sort of like reflect and see what happened. And I woke up like 6 hours later. I was just completely crashed.
Well, I mean, you could have gone out after, right?
Yeah, it's Vegas.
It's Vegas.
Who gives a fuck? But I did. I went out for like, I went to Magic Shop.
Yo, party, boy.
Yeah, I went to a magic
Get
shop.
wasted at the magic shop.
I just wanted to do some shopping for like Morris and Keegan and Harry because they helped me with the thing. But yeah, I just couldn't really find much. There was a really shitty magic shop. For Vegas, there was a pretty shitty magic shop. I still bought them some stuff.
I guess it's probably touristy shit, right?
Yeah, it was.
Like
I mean, it was.
Svengali dicks.
It was some good stuff. Like Morris was really happy with what I got him, and so was Harry. But it was limited, like slim pickings. But whatever there was good stuff. Yeah, that shop was supposed to be really good. It had like Houdini's original handcuffs that he like did escape stuff from. I took a picture of it and stuff. Then I just like hung out at the Strip for a while, smoked a joint again, and yeah, I was going to gamble. I just didn't have any energy. I think that this is my biggest regret of the whole thing, is every other magician who was on that show, who I saw on that show, had at least 2 or 3 people with them as their entourage for like technical support, for magic support, for emotional support. And I was all by myself.
Yeah.
And that was a huge.
And they offered to get people on, right?
Yeah, I could have got as many people as I wanted. There was this one dude who had like 6-7 people with him. And a really great guy, actually. I should actually hit him up. I was going to hit him up after the thing. I've completely forgotten about him until now. I forgot his name as well anyway. Yeah, that was my biggest regret. It would have been so much better if I had someone to come to Vegas with me and actually like enjoy Vegas with me and also like help me with the magic. I think that would have been a much more fulfilling experience, but in a way it was really cool to do it solo as well. Like, I mean,
because now it's like, well, I've done that by myself, so
absolutely
I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, I definitely like just felt that real like, I guess, inner strength that comes from just doing something like that by yourself. For sure. Yeah, and then next day I just chilled out, did some shopping, and was on my flight back.
Fuck yeah, dude. That sounds fucking lit.
Yeah. It's the whole
stressful as fuck.
But, super stressful, but just incredibly proud of like that whole journey, and just the fact that the solo part of it makes me even more proud of it, because it was I mean, Morris, Harry, and Keegan helped me, but like it was minimal help, and not to say anything bad about them, they were great, but I just didn't ask for help. In hindsight, I should have asked for help. But I'm just incredibly proud of that whole thing. Yeah, and then like that was March. Then I just chilled out, man. Lockdown. As soon as I came back, lockdown, and that was perfect timing. So I just like chilled out after that.
Binge Netflix and
fuck all. Yeah, I did fuck all for like a few months.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh man, I got autistically into certain video games. Oh god.
Yeah.
Nice, man. I'm gonna need to take a leak, so we'll be right back. All right, we are back. So now the other thing I want to talk about, which I'm actually quite keen to talk about.
Cool.
When we were doing, I was doing the social media for the Something Magic 3.
Yeah.
I noticed that in your like performer bio or whatever the hell, you mentioned that you performed in like remote villages in Nepal. Yeah. And that's an experience we both share, actually.
Yeah, that's right.
So I was curious, like, what were your circumstances around that?
Oh yeah. Oh, amazing. I'm so glad you asked this question.
Yeah, man. Fuck yeah. Because it's one of my favorite performances I've ever had.
Yeah.
That and Solomon Islands. So I always find that like connecting with different cultures at like very, like just places you would never usually go to. Yeah. Especially if they don't speak the language. Yeah. It's like you connect with them in some other way, especially through magic. Yeah. It just creates this, for me, the performer creates this very memorable, like tangible experience. And I'm sure they probably still remember it because who the hell goes through there performing? Maybe they remember like, oh, there was one like Indian looking guy and then there's one like white guy and like,
Yeah. Who knows, man?
Maybe it's the same village.
Yeah. The village I performed was Luang village. I don't know if that's...
I don't even know where we were. I'll tell you why in a sec.
Okay. I think I might know why.
It was related, but not 100% why. Yeah, but anyway, carry
on. So the circumstances. So we... it was a university tour, actually. I was doing a diploma in global humanitarian engineering. So that is...
this in India or...
No, Christchurch.
Oh, okay. So you went from... Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I did my undergraduate in electrical engineering at Canterbury University.
Yeah. It's just because like India is so close to Nepal. I figured it was related, but no.
No, it was from here. Yeah, shocking. So from So after my undergraduate degree, I did this diploma in global humanitarian engineering, which is essentially using your engineering tools and techniques in a more humanitarian context. So the intention was to go to Nepal and go to different villages and like solve their engineering sort of like concerns, and like in a human-centered way. Essentially, is what the concept is. You don't try and fix what you think they need fixing, but you try and like connect with them and like discuss with them, like, you know, what are the like sort of issues they're facing on a daily basis, and see if there's anything you can do as an engineer to sort of like help them. It was a learning process. It was a process to like go through that whole procedure of human-centered design and humanitarian design as engineering students. And so I actually spent, with me and two other students and our lecturer, we spent like almost 2 months in Nepal. But the first couple of weeks, we joined this design summit called the Engineers Without Borders. It was a bunch of like Australian students.
I feel like I've heard about that.
You must have. It's like engineer. There's lots of like things without borders, Doctors Without Borders.
Yeah.
So they'd organized this design summit, which is the same thing really. And we just joined in with these guys. And that was about like 40 Australian students. And we were 3 Kiwi students from New Zealand. And we were split into different groups. I'm actually wearing the t-shirt inside of that group that I was a part of. So yeah, we went to this village called Luang village. We were based in Pokhara, and then we went from there to different villages. So we went to Luang village, and we were, the intention was just to connect with them. We had like days where we interviewed with a translator, like all kinds of members of the village, and just learned about their ways and cultures. And it was a really beautiful experience. We danced with them. They were so welcoming.
Wow.
We lived in their houses. We had dinner with them. We cooked with them. We like explored, like just really immersed ourselves into their daily lives. And obviously I had a deck of cards on me. And one of the ways I connected with the people over there was just, you know, doing a few card tricks for the kids here and there. Like it's very obvious when, like, you know, you don't need to have language to say, like, to see like 3 of clubs, you know, turning into 6 of clubs. Not the best change, but you know what I mean. And that's how I started connecting with the like kids over there. And like, it's a village and it's a very small community, so word spreads very quickly. So every time like I would like kids would see me, or like the parents of kids would see me, they get really excited and they'd be like, show us some magic too. So by the end, like we spent, I think, like a week in that village, and it was a very hospitable like time for all of us. We were just having the best time. And the last day, they had organized this little, like, I guess, performance for us, like the traditional dance and just all of that thing. And we were just watching and just having a good time, and, you know, just like being a part of their like festivities. They had this like little community hall where they were doing this. The entire village literally was there. It was amazing. And then they were like, now Dev will perform magic for us. And I had no idea. I had like literally no idea that they were going to ask me to do this. And even my like the facilitators who were organizing the event, they were like, I don't know if you should be doing this. And then they were like, please come do magic. And so I was like, I don't have my cards on me. So I like had to walk up to the to our like room where the house that we lived in, get my cards and everything, and then come back down. And I did think like a 20-minute set for them. And it was just the most wonderful time. It was the entire village. I have a picture of it if you guys want to see it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's one of my favorite pictures I've ever had of myself. Might take me a little bit to find it, but it's worth the picture.
Nice. I'll go into a little bit of my experience there.
Yeah, great.
So, I mean, it's a long story. So,
there it is.
Oh, nice, perfect. Nice. Send that to us, and we'll chuck it on the screen.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. Yeah.
You can see the vibe. It's such a positive, beautiful vibe.
100%.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah.
So Yeah, so I mean, for me, it was a very interesting one because I think, did I tell you the story? I've definitely made videos on it and stuff, but basically, I met this guy in New Zealand from Nepal at a club performing a gig, and he was like, "I'm a psytrance guy." Like, yeah, I told him I was also into psytrance events, and psychedelic trance for anyone who doesn't know what that is. It's just a type of music. And he was like, "Yeah, man, like I make I like organize events and stuff. I'll fly you over, blah blah blah." Right? And I was like, "Yeah, whatever, you know, drunk people talk." And then I hit him up, and he was serious. And so, basically, we flew over there, and it was a whole shebang. But basically, like, ultimately, we took like I don't even remember exactly, but it was like a 24 hour like bus ride through Nepal from I believe, was it from Kathmandu? I think so. Yeah. And like into the mountains and like up really remote areas and shit. And like, because of the crowd, I mean, the whole bus instantly turned into like a massive smoke session.
Oh, wow.
And like, I was sitting there and everyone was like just puffing away at cigarettes, but there was clearly marijuana smell in the air. And so I'm like, ask some guy and I'm like, "Yo, bro, like, where would like, hypothetically speaking, where would someone that was just full of like Jewish people, like people from Israel and shit."
Oh, random.
Yeah, it was really strange.
Yeah.
And like, and Indians and some Nepali.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, where would someone, purchase some, some illegal materials, Like, I was just being very, and he's like, he laughs and he goes, "Bro, just literally just got to shout on this bus." And then he turns around and like, kind of like ignores me again. And I'm just sitting there like, do I just shout weed? Like on the, like, what,
Yeah, what
what the hell, what am I,
That's so random.
Yeah. And it was just like, okay. And so like half an hour later, the guy behind me taps me on the shoulder and he's like, I turn around, it's this Indian guy and he just like hands me like this something. And I'm like, okay. And I put my hand out and it's a ball of hash. And I'm like, "Oh, cool, man. Like, how much do I owe?" He's like, "No, man, it's love, all love. You take." And I'm like, "Holy shit, okay." So I don't know how do you smoke? I don't know. I've never, I've never really smoked hash before.
Yeah.
Obviously it's weed, but it's not like, So I just like take it and like roll it up into a little ball.
Yeah.
And I shove it in the tip of my cigarette.
Some people smoke it like that.
Yeah. And like I just kept like lighting a bit and then like smoking it.
Yeah.
And then like rolling it up again and shoving a little another ball.
Yeah.
And I'm like just going at it. And this fucking bus driver, man, he's going ape shit, driving like there's a fucking cliff face this, right? Yeah. I mean, but like I was just like, what the fuck? I'm high as balls, right? He's driving like he's overtaking in a cliff corner and just going beep, beep before the turn. Can't see anything in the other side. Just overtakes. And if there's a fucking another bus coming, we're fucked, like basically.
Yeah.
And he just goes, "Well, I guess, we'll just gamble it. We'll just gamble it."
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there like high as giraffe titties, just holding onto my seat going, "Oh my God, what the fuck are we doing?" Right?
Yeah.
And that happens over and over. And this guy behind me, before I've even finished what I had, he half an hour later hands me another little ball. And I'm like, "Bro, I haven't finished the..." He's like, "Oh, love, bro. Oh," and I'm like, "I can't smoke this much, man." So it was just like, I was just trying to like finish what he had given me and he's just handing me more. And then at one point, the Jewish guys go, do you want to try chilum? I'm like, "What the fuck is that?"
Chilum.
Yeah. So they take this like ceramic pipe and put like toasted tobacco in there and a bunch of hash in it, and you like light it upside down like this, and you just take puffs and they pass it around. And
they have a cloth.
The cloth. Yep.
And
and it was like first of all, it was like great experience because it's like I've never tried consuming
that's
this.
OG
in that way.
Indian style. I mean, like that area style.
Yeah.
Style,
And I was like, "This is fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
This is better than a travel brochure. I'll tell you that." But anyway, so we spend 20 hours, whatever, get to this point where the festival's supposed to happen. But before that happens, we get stopped by the police at a checkpoint. Well, actually, before that, let me just say, there was military checkpoints like every, whatever, few, I don't know, 20 kilometers or whatever.
Yeah.
And so someone in the front of the bus would just stop, kind of like, not stop, would just kind of lean in and go, "Stop the smoke!" And then everyone would, like, there's just, it's hot boxed. So there's just clearly weed smell in the air. Like there's no way of everyone would just sort of like put their cigarettes down and we'd pass through a military checkpoint. They'll sort of like pay the guy or whatever the fuck, and then we just keep going through.
Damn.
And I'm like, that's not doing shit. We might as well keep smoking, but you know, I'm sure they're just bribing them or whatever they're doing.
Yeah. And
so
they probably don't even care.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so we get to this fucking remote place. We get stopped by the police, and so now we're just like sort of waiting. They're trying to call the organizers. The organizers aren't picking up. It's a whole shebang. And so I'm like, oh well, I guess we might as well just get out and explore. So we just sort of in this village, you know, in the top of this mountain in the fucking Himalayan mountains, and so we're just like meeting the locals. We get invited in the house, like sort of same sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I mean, this is a one-time thing. I just pull out my cards. I start doing magic training. I made a video on it, so if you guys want to see it, it's Eduard Todor Magic in Nepal. It's kind of encompasses that. And then we get turned back. The police don't allow the festival to keep going. And I actually overhear at one point someone mention like drugs, like the word drugs.
Yeah.
And I have this ball of hash in my hand. And so it's palmed, right? So I'm just like, okay, yeah, I see where this is going. I'm not about to be a statistic like the tourist fucking, you know?
Don't want to be
And
that.
so I'm just eating bag of chips. And as I'm eating the bag of chips, I pop the bowl of hash in my mouth with a chip.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I'm not going to be caught with fucking hash in a fucking third world country. You know, I mean, I'm already scared that they're going to plant something on me. You know, that's because it's that sort of vibe.
Yeah.
And so they didn't. They just wanted money from the organizers, essentially.
Okay.
But we ended up having to like camp in a tent with these like random Arab dudes because we didn't have a tent. We were expecting to like be housed somewhere at the festival because that's what the organizer said. And so we just like, there's no space at the hotel that was like the nearest hotel sort of thing. And so like the police wouldn't let us leave. So we just had to sleep there for the night. And so like, we just like, someone had a tent and they're like, you want to come in the tent? Yeah, sure. Fuck it. You know, I'm not going to sleep outside in the fucking freezing Himalayan Alps or whatever the fuck. And we woke up to like a storm and there's just water running down this mountain. And like, we're literally ankle deep in water, getting all our shit, trying to not get the camera wet. But the point is, I didn't realize that hash is activated. So you technically, when you swallow it, you're still ingesting. Like, you know, weed, like you don't, if you eat it, nothing happens.
Right.
But
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it turns out that you definitely do.
Yeah.
And I passed the fuck out. So, but it was perfect because we just got in the tent.
Oh yeah.
So it was like, you know, it could have
Worked out
been
pretty well.
way worse because
Yeah.
I could have just been like zonked out somewhere with police trying to fucking get money from us or whatever.
Yeah.
So thank fuck for that.
Damn.
But like,
What a story. God damn.
yeah. So that's how my shit ended.
Yeah.
And then we ended up getting a taxi and going down to like the nearest airport, which was Birat Nagar. Very small airport, smallest fucking airport I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And I was just waiting for the plane, so I was doing magic there. So I did a magic a bunch, you know, throughout. But like that remote village thing was definitely the highlight because it was just like, man, like this is quite similar vibes to what I found in Solomon Islands when I went. Like I went and did we went with Amy because she's from Solomon Islands, and like I was the whole time I was like, okay, I want to come up with something that's going to be basically like relate to them like really well,
Cool.
right? And all they do there is they smoke piala, which is cigarettes, and and like basically just like when they have money, drink alcohol. Otherwise, just like fish and eat whatever's going
That sounds
on.
great.
Yeah, I mean it's a very chill life.
Yeah.
You know, they got like massive forests and they cut down trees and you know whatever the hell they do.
Amazing.
And so I came up with this trick where it's a sealed pack of cigarettes that someone hands me.
Yeah.
Sorry, someone picks a card and I'm trying to like read their mind and I can't read their mind. I'm like, fuck it, like just hand me a cigarette, right? And so he opens up the cigarette packet, pops it open, hands me a cigarette. I take the cigarette and I try to light it and it's like not lighting. And then I hold it up in the sunlight and it's like, you can see like a card inside the cigarette and I open it up and it's the card that he was thinking about.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And like, I just remember the next day or maybe that night even, I don't remember exactly. We went to some other island nearby.
Yeah.
There was like a bar, which was just like a house with a pool table and drinks.
Sounds great.
A bar, basically. And somehow, no, he was like, I could hear them talking about the cigarette trick still. And then the next day we went to a different island and they had already heard about it. So like it was just like information was spreading
Amazing.
old school style, you know,
Amazing.
boat by boat, baby.
That's how like magic became famous in the past, like that. It's like just stories about people doing amazing things.
Yeah,
That's
but like,
awesome.
I was
Yeah.
like, so that those two are like probably the two highlight performances I've ever done, you know,
Yeah.
because it's so like you connect with them on such a base level and like such a
core sort of like experience.
exactly,
for
yeah.
them
And
where-
it's like even if you don't speak the same language, you've never lived in the same sort of area, but on some level you understand each other. Like, you know what I mean?
There's a universal sort of like, it's like magic in many ways is a universal form of connecting with one another. It's just seeing something impossible happen together. And we all know what's supposed to be possible and impossible. And then connecting on that, like that level where like, look, this is magic. And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really wonderful.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, I know the feel, but like for you, when you went over there,
Yeah.
you had like time to connect with those people beforehand as well.
Yeah. 100%.
Which is kind of cool too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like I did
for
that
sure.
with in Solomon's. I didn't really have time in Nepal because we were sort of getting harassed by the police. But so how was like, I guess do you find like that they saw you differently after they, or I guess they sort of knew that you were doing magic and stuff.
So magic was part of the connecting process from the start. So no, I don't think there was any difference, but I think they were just really, really happy. Like I was just incredibly like, it's incredibly rewarding to see how much joy it brought them and just how much happiness they felt and how much happiness I felt. It was just a really, really just beautiful experience just to share that with them and have that thing. I would put that like up there with my Foolus performance.
Yeah.
Foolus was great to be on TV and, you know, such a famous show and to perform for Magic and Penn And Teller. But in terms of like meaning, in terms of like fulfillment, I would say in Nepal, that performance, like the way I was able to connect with them and the way we all like just had that just beautiful 20 minutes where it was just everyone was just loving the magic. I'd put that right up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I think like we've had conversations in the past about like meaning and magic.
Yeah.
And, And like I've gone through weird fucking ups and downs with that. Because I think at a core, like at its core, what magic really is deception.
Fair enough.
Like,
I mean, I don't know if I don't think I agree with that.
Yeah, I think you don't. And I also like, I know that a lot of people don't. And when people say like magic is wonder, I just can't see that. And I think I've been thinking about that actually.
Cool.
I wonder because like I got into magic at a time in my life where, so like I grew up like super conservative. I would almost call it cultish, like religious upbringing.
Yeah, you didn't have TV and stuff and all that.
Well, TV was like my mom just thinking like it's better to read than to watch TV, which I kind of agree. You know what I mean? I can't really fault that. But like the way, like, so we would go to church from the age of 4 to about 9 or 10, because that's when we moved here.
Yeah.
We would go to church. I'm trying to be conservative. 10 times a week.
Oh my God.
Like it would be like between like prayer meetings and like church. Like Sundays would be twice. Like it would be morning and evening.
Wow.
That's
very
it was
cultish.
it was like hours and hours at a time where I'm just sitting there, like, you know, watching these adults do this thing. And so you grow up with that, like believing that, and like, you know, like dancing was considered a sin. Alcohol clearly not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, like a very, very restrictive, very, very like, I would say like judgmental. Like a lot of it was based on like trying to find your hierarchy in this sort of space and sort of judging each other based on who was the better Christian.
Oh wow.
You know, like
that sounds very unhealthy.
100%.
Toxic.
100%.
Yeah.
And like one of the things I remember very clearly is there was one service where I went to and the pastor or whatever the fuck was like, okay, I want everyone to, like, all the kids in the church to like get out of the church right now.
Whoa.
And we're like, sweet, fuck yeah, like we're gonna go play or some shit, right? So we went and played hide and seek outside. And I remember overhearing conversations, and basically what had happened was like the main pastor got caught like fucking, like, I don't know, like basically like having sex with like not his wife, obviously, and like it was someone from the church, which is like what you suspect. Like I'm like very suspicious of anyone with that sort of like power nowadays. Like I'm like, you're doing some fucking weird shit, bro. I don't give a fuck. You know, so like I'm very suspicious of religious leaders.
Yeah.
I'm very suspicious of anyone that's sort of like seems
Too good to be
altruistic on the outside, but they
Yeah.
sort of have this weird power structure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I felt like, you know, around that time where I started magic, I felt like a lot of my life I was lied to, right? So when I saw magic, I think now I'm like starting to kind of connect the dots where I'm like, I think the fascination was, wait a minute, someone can fool me like this. That means that, you know, like it's actually a thing you can do. You can fool people very easily. And so I think my fascination with magic came initially from deception.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think it's very hard for me to see it any other way, which is why I think I feel very guilty when I have these sort of like, you know, the whole, like, I hate the fucking ambitious card. Like the card is ambitious and it rises from the middle to the top because it's ambitious. The card has a person, like that shit is blatantly lying to the audience.
Yeah.
And so I think like,
that's not deceptive.
for sure, but it's like you're almost insulting your audience intelligence,
Absolutely.
you know? So, but anyway, so I think like I view a lot of magic through that lens. And so I really struggle to see that wonder that people talk about.
Yeah.
And I know it's entertaining, but it's not, for me, it's never about the wonder. It's about like, oh shit, that's like interesting way to deceive someone.
Right.
You know, and like, that's what I find entertaining about it.
Cool.
And so for me, it's like, sometimes I struggle with the meaning aspect because it's like, I'm just lying. Like I know I'm telling people I'm lying to them, but like, it's just entertainment.
Yeah.
I don't see the wonder that people talk about. I don't see the, you know, the life-changing perspective or whatever the hell people talk about. So I think this is like kind of linked to our conversations in the past where I'm like, I don't know how to make my magic feel meaningful to me, right? Because like it just feels empty. It just feels like I'm doing this to get the feedback or the adoration or the what's it called? Like the validation. Of the people around me, you know, as opposed to doing it to spread some sort of wonder or some sort of joy. Yeah, exactly. I think you know, like the way you perform magic is probably like the closest I've ever seen to that sort of idea of like,
oh, thank you.
Wonder or mad, you know what I mean? Like it's just so wholesome that you can't, it's like, I can't hate this motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I don't even care you're lying to me because it is that feel of like, I like you from the very get-go of the performance.
Oh,
you know?
thanks, man.
Whereas
that's really sweet.
For me, when I perform, it's, you know, it's genuinely what I feel. But like, for me, when I perform, like, because I enjoy the lying and the deception, I almost feel guilty. So I have to overcorrect. I have to be like, I have to win them over to my side by doing all this funny shit or like, you know, like doing a little gag where I'm like, you know, I'm going to try to cheat, catch me out, you know, but also like, I'm on your side. Like we're not playing for money, you know, like, or whatever it is. Yeah. So I think like I've struggled with that a lot and in the past, and like these sort of experiences are able to reinforce that for me, like reinforce the meaning behind it. And just doing the selling magic and stuff, like I've realized that it doesn't have to necessarily mean something, but if the connection with the audience is there, and if people are, you know, on some level, like taken out of their mundane life, you know, able to see something that they wouldn't normally see, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to like change their life in any way necessarily, but like, you know, as long as I'm being self-aware about what I'm doing and I'm like able to communicate that across through my magic, I feel like it is like something that the world is better off for, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But that was like a huge problem. And like in the first Something Magic I was a part of, I tried to come in through some fucking weird angle of like, I want to show an ego death in a card trick.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like I wanted to like portray a psychedelic trip essentially, and it just like was so pretentious, and like I felt bad doing it. And when your guys' feedback was like, yeah, you're trying too hard to tell something or make it meaningful, and I'm like, I agree. I don't know how the fuck to do it though.
Yeah, man. Like I think that's such a important part of this journey in like that sort of like finding meaning in magic. And I think part of that journey is also like that what you were sharing with me. It's like, how do you do that? How do you find meaning in magic? It's very, very difficult. And it's something that I'm still trying to sort of navigate. I also feel you on that whole thing where like, and like also like, yeah, it feels pretentious at times. Like, who am I to say these things, you know, about like, what do I know about life? And what, like, why do I have to talk about these things in a magical context? But with regards to the, just going back to the like magic being deception and like the wonder and part of it, like sharing wonder. I used to also like very similar. I used to be, it's something I really struggled with actually. I was like, I'm a magician. Like this is, I think early last year. This is when I was going through this. It was after Fula, sort of reflecting on the whole like journey. Is like, what am I as a magician? Who am I? Like, what do I want from magic, etc., etc. I realized that I was a magician, but I didn't believe in magic, right? And I think that's the case with most magicians.
In fact, it's probably why you become a magician, because you're like, nah, there's got to be some shit to this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you want to explore, like what the hell? Like that can't be possible. Like surely there's a trick behind it, right? And I was like, what? Like who? Like how can I convince people of magic that I'm doing if I myself don't believe in magic? And that just really like stuck with me. I was like, this is a fundamental contradiction in this process. Like I'm a magician, magic.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in magic. I don't believe that magic is real. And so what I did was I just didn't do magic at all. I think I told you about this. I just took a break from magic for I think 6 to 8 months, where I just barely even, I had a deck of cards in my hands just out of like habit, but I wasn't working on anything. And in that time, I was going through a lot of other life stuff as well. And in that time, I mean, like the details are almost, we can talk about the details, but there was so much stuff going on in my life and I was just sitting and observing. And somehow in that process, I came to the conclusion that no, magic is real. Magic is present all around us. And I firmly hold that belief now. I could go into detail about explaining what I mean by that, but essentially, like now when I perform magic, I believe in magic, and that makes a huge difference from me internally performing, and I think that shows externally as well.
So yeah, I want to go into that. So
Okay.
like, what's your like sort of mental process of going from like I don't believe in this to I believe in this?
Yeah.
Because there's that book. Let me see if I can find it. Paul Harris. I think it's the first volume. You know what I'm talking about? The Art of Astonishment?
No, actually.
There's like a quote he says. I should have it highlighted. Keep going. I'll see if I can find it. If I can't, then it's fine.
I'm happy to wait.
All right, cool. Oh no, it would be at the start, wouldn't it? Yeah, so
highlighting. Cool.
Yeah, so Paul Harris has this like preface where he talks about like my first instinct when watching magic was not to hear a joke or be entertained. Right? The tricks are simply tools to help unleash the moment. But there is like a he talks about the experience of astonishment is the experience of a clear primal state of mind that children associate, that people associate with a child's state of mind. I had a quote at the very end of my video that I'll put up on screen if I can find it. I guess it's the first thing he says. He goes, astonishment is our natural state of mind. And he goes into this sort of little essay about how when we're children, we have boxes that we put things in, right? So to start with, we have no boxes. We have like everything is magic because nothing is put into these boxes where things logically make sense.
Yeah.
And so that's the idea of like astonishment is a natural state of mind. And then as we grow up and we start to kind of learn rationality and learn that things sort of follow patterns, we sort of categorize these things into these boxes. Okay, so when I drop this pack of cards, it falls to the ground every time. It falls to the table.
Yeah.
And so the first time you ever see that happen, your state is astonishment.
Yeah.
Because you've never seen that happen before.
Yeah.
Right. So, but as things get categorized in boxes, you sort of go, okay, that's that, that's this, that. So when you see magic, it's something that you've never seen before. It's something that's impossible with your current boxes that you've categorized.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that is the art. That is the art of astonishment. That's like what Paul Harris considers astonishment.
Yeah.
Which sort of did reframe my mind a little bit, but I still struggled with the concept as a whole for a while.
Yeah.
And it's only like kind of recently that I've sort of been able to kind of make some sense of it. But to lead you back to what you were saying.
Yeah. So I think I spoke about this in Something Magic 3 when I was performing. When you're a magician, at least for me, in my experience, what happened was the natural sort of like inclination of looking at the world, that lens became magical. For example, when I speak with someone and like just having a conversation, someone says something like, it is impossible to make this glass float, right? Now, a non-magician would just be like, yeah, of course, it's impossible to make this glass float. But a magician would be like, oh, that's a potential trick, right? That's at least how I thought, like, go about it. So that sort of approach to like looking at everything else in life, looking at impossibilities as opportunities, created this like sort of like, I guess, natural mindset where you're constantly looking for magic, like opportunities of magic around you. And that approach, I think, was the key element in me sort of like recognizing that there's actually plenty of magic which doesn't require things to be floating for magic to be real. And I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you're saying like magic is almost the state of mind of looking for these glimpses or these like little moments in time where something could be considered magic and then finding ways to make that real.
That's sort of like the kind of the process that I'm going through in terms of like the physical process of the magic that I want to create at the moment is like observing magic in the real world and sort of like trying to like distill that down into a trick and see if I can express that. But I think this journey has sort of like, it's more and more now. I think every day it gets more and more like visible to me, at least it feels that way, is that there's magic all around us, literally. Like I don't know, I might sound a bit like floofy-doofy over here, but there's like a lot of, there's a quote, I don't know if, I think it's Roald Dahl, the famous author, and he was like, only those who believe in magic get to see it. If you want to, something like that, something of that, and I really subscribe to that quote. I think if you look for magic, you'll definitely find magic. And it's ever present. Like there's so much magic. I mean, I don't know how, in terms of like technical scientific detail, it might get a bit like tricky for me to explain what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I am an engineer, so I know how this sounds. But it's something I genuinely believe now. And it's like just really enhanced, I think, my whole approach to magic and performing.
I think there's there's a difference or like a kind of distinction of like believing something rationally or feeling it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think probably what you're trying to say is that you're feeling this concept as opposed to necessarily like, I rationally believe that there is magic in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a sense of magic, I think. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of things that, you know, you can't explain. I mean, it's not like you can't explain. That's not even what I'm trying to say. Is that they're beyond explaining. They're moments or mind states or, you know, like the magic of what it is to be a human, or what it is to be what it is to have consciousness.
Yeah.
And like, well, we literally can't explain consciousness. Like, that's a whole fucking debate.
100%. That's a great point.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like we were talking with in the pre-recording about this concept of the white room, and how I've already said it, but I'll go quickly just to kind of summarize. Basically, when you're born, you're in this white room, and you don't remember anything that's happened before. And then there's people in the room that have all these theories about what's happening outside the room, but no one's ever been outside the room, you know? And so everyone's so sure, like, it's this God, it's that God, it's, God wants you to do this. This is what will happen when you leave this room. But no one's left the room and come back, and no one really understands what the fuck is going on outside the room. And so honestly, the whole experience is sort of this magical thing where it's like, what the fuck is this? No one really knows. And we're just trying to all go through life figuring it out. And I guess when you focus on that when you focus to try to capture the essence of that, right, that could be considered magic in some sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I just, while I was describing this to you, talking to you, and like listening to you talk as well, I just remembered this passage that I've read. If you want to explore this, actually, this like whole idea of magic, real magic, like being around us and stuff like that, and finding meaning in magic, I think a great place to start would be reading the book by Nate Staniforth. Here is Real Magic. Beautiful book. It's not a magic book, like in the sense like it's not got tricks in it. It's just a
thank fuck.
Yeah, legit, dude. It's a beautiful book, and it's about Nate sort of looking for real magic, because he had sort of went through a similar, I guess, journey to what we're talking about, where we're just not finding that meaning, or just not finding that I guess joy or wonder, whatever you were saying. And he went through that whole like sort of, I guess, process, and went to India, and he was like, I'm going to find real magic. And that's just a beautiful book. And I think I have it saved on my Instagram, actually, one of the quotes, if I can read out the passage. Let me see. Oh, I don't, fuck. Give me a second.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what's interesting about, and I know he's kind of a meme, or like, it's like, David Blaine, he's so mainstream. And like when I've said in the past, David Blaine's my favorite magician, people are like, yeah, whatever. It's such a basic bitch sort of answer.
Yeah.
But like, I think his last special, I don't know if it's the last special, but the one, Real Magic, explores that in such a like visceral way, where it's like, am I just doing this and it's real, or am I, is this an illusion, and what the fuck is the difference? And there's this beautiful clip of him performing for Ricky Gervais. Yeah. Oh man, with that thing, right? He puts a fucking skewer through his arm, through his own bicep. Yeah. And Ricky's just like, you're either a maniac and you're doing this for real, or if it's an illusion, it's the best illusion I've ever seen. Yeah. But I think you're a maniac. Like, he's pretty much like, you're a fucking crazy motherfucker. Yeah. And it's like, yeah. He's fucking insane. Yeah. But at the same time, it explores that in like a very visceral way, without really being facetious or getting too deep in the weeds. Yeah. I actually really like, there's a lot of stuff, he's done with Stooges and blah, blah, blah. And like, it's the classic magician way to do shit. But I think that special was like very, very good. I really enjoyed that one.
I have huge respect for David Blaine. I think he often, what he does is he blurs the line between illusion and reality. Like the frog thing, dude, like, man, like, it's real, right? Like, just that kind of like just doing these like real extraordinary stunts. Frozen in Time. You've got the picture over there, poster. Like standing on that pole for 48 hours, living in a box for 44 days without food. That's in so many ways incredibly magical. Yeah. And he often does that. It's a standard thing. Like the recent thing where he did, which flew in the air 30,000 feet. Yeah. On balloons. Yeah. Yeah. That's extraordinary.
I stayed up to watch that live.
Same.
Because I'm like, this is, I don't know how many of these motherfucking crazy shits he's gonna do. Yeah. But like,
I hope he survives this.
I knew, like, to be honest, it's probably one of his least unsafe ones.
Really?
I thought.
It felt so unsafe.
He's really good at doing that, though, right? He's really good at like playing up the dangers of it. Yeah. But because he had like remote control poppers in the balloons and stuff. Like, I mean, he wasn't gonna get fucked up. Yeah. In my opinion. Yeah. But
and I mean, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. 100%. But at the same time, for me to be like, oh, I was there, quote unquote, for this sort of historical moment of these things that, in my mind, is like, you know, like this is kind of like what got me, you know, like this is what I was fascinated by when I watched Magic at the start, you know?
Absolutely.
And like, I was like, yeah, I need to watch this live.
That was a really emotional moment as well. You know, like it's just, I completely like agree with you. Like I felt very similar.
Yeah.
And I remember like getting emotional watching that. Like just, I took so many pictures of him just flying in the air. I was like, this is a really special moment. Like it's like the closest thing to real, like just like technical, rational, real magic that you can see.
Well, I love the fact that he's just sort of like comes up with a crazy idea and finds out like so much of even my magic is so much of like, all right, let me find a trick I like, let me perfect it, let me perform it, get the validation. Sweet.
Yeah.
Very rarely do I go like, I wonder if I could do this.
Yeah.
And then try to recreate, you know. And I know a lot of good magicians do that. A lot of creative magicians do that. I struggle with that a lot.
I mean, the amount of effort that goes into doing that is really, really high. And I think most of these musicians, they have the whole team working with them. That's the key thing over here. It's really hard to do this solo, man. Like one of the main learnings from Foolers, like I mentioned, is doing it solo is way harder. You got to have a team.
Even for a fucking podcast, man.
Yeah, dude.
That's why, you know what I mean? Because like if I did it myself, it would have been overwhelming.
Yeah.
But as soon as, you know, like Amy was like, yeah, let's do this. And I was like, okay, sweet. I'm not even going to, like, I don't even have to worry about whether or not this succeeds or fails because I know that like we both believe in this.
Absolutely,
you know?
man.
And that's
so much better.
Huge.
Same for me with something magic. Like doing the first two, like literally by myself was so much harder. And now that's having you and Alan on board and then Morris as well makes it so much easier. So much better. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the quote that I was talking about. Okay. It's from just a bit of context. He's like met this sage type dude who's supposed to be a magician as well in India, like this real, like, I guess, mystical dude. And so this is what he says. Everything is magic, he began, spreading his arms wide. And magic happens everywhere, but we are not ready to see it. We don't have the eyes to perceive it or the ears sensitive enough to hear it. What is more amazing than the fact that the tree outside this door began as a little seed and has grown into this huge tree which has millions of leaves and twigs, each one different and unique. Isn't that magic? Isn't that wow? It is a miracle that we are all sitting here and discussing this. It is a miracle that you have come and that we are all sitting together. He said it again slowly. This is a miracle. But we never speak about our life like this. We want our miracles on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%, dude. That's crazy.
Mm.
And it's just it all comes down to just us putting things in boxes.
Yeah.
That we convince ourselves we understand.
Yeah.
We go, oh yeah, I know how the tree works.
Exactly.
Put it in the box.
Absolutely.
Do you though? Do you really understand how the fucking tree works? Does anyone really understand how the tree works?
Yeah.
Or do we just observe patterns and we go, yep, that pattern is most likely going to reappear.
Yeah.
If the conditions are this and this and that. Right?
Yeah.
Because ultimately everything's just a model. Models in science get reinvented and
evaluated and
we thought we thought that the atom looked like this and it had electrons circling around and it turns out like not quite. There's a whole probability of the electrons being somewhere.
Absolutely.
Which I don't. What the fuck does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? There might be a chance that there are electrons here or here.
Yeah.
But this is the chance. This is the calculate. Like we can calculate the chance. What the fuck does that mean? Is it there or not?
Yeah, and we still don't know that. That's
exactly.
Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I mean, even like there's so many examples of that. Like think about like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. That's so magical. Like legit. Like I mean, if we had no idea how that process worked, even if we know how the process works, look at this creature goes into this little like thing for like some like X amount of time and comes out completely different, completely transformed. That's transformation.
100%. Or even like philosophically, we can't really make sense of what is real and what isn't. Like
Good
point. The parable of the plank, right? Like you take a ship and you start changing one plank. Is it the same ship? Yeah.
Yeah.
You change 2 planks. Is it the same ship? You change 3 planks. At what point does this ship become a different ship?
Yeah.
You know, like, is there a essence of the ship that is there regardless of all the components making it up, right? So, I mean, that comes down to like humanity. Like
humanity, I was going to say, like,
Yeah.
same with humans. Like, take my kidney out, put a different kidney in me.
yeah,
Well, am I still me?
if
that kidney
you're
me?
able to upload your consciousness, perhaps in the future, you
Yeah.
know, we might be able to upload our consciousness.
Uh-huh.
What is the real me? Is that the consciousness that's in this sort of machine that's making it run,
Yeah.
or is it just my experience that's the consciousness?
Yeah.
Or it becomes like very, very vague and very like uncertain.
Yeah, this Buddhism talks about this. It's a very like popular concept in Buddhist philosophy. It's the illusion of the self. The self essentially is an illusion. Like,
Oh man, I'm tripping on acid as we speak, dude. What the fuck? All right, keep going.
so yeah, that's the exact point, right? Like, what makes us us? What is the self? And a rationalist, a scientific thinking process would be, well, it's you know, like your organs, your body, everything, your brain. That's what makes you. And then, like, what about my personality? Where does that come from? What about my like likes and dislikes? What about my like? Do my organs define that? And isn't that me? And then some would say that there's it's a combination of environment, you know, nurture and genetics, and those things come together to create this self essentially. And then you're like, okay, fine, you know, that's me. But then, yeah, what happens if one factor changes, this factor changes? Where's the you in all of this? It's all based on external influence. It's based on your genetics. Did you choose your parents? No. Did you choose where you grew up? No. All of those factors you're talking about, even with your like childhood, with the cult and how you felt it was a cult and stuff like that, how that shapes your personality. So if you look at it from that perspective, where is it that you came into the picture, Eduard? Like, your DNA, you didn't decide. You didn't decide your environment growing up. You didn't decide any of those things. All of those things were just information being fed into you from, I guess, different sources, external sources. And at none of those points is there like you per se. So where's that self from? So that's what Buddhism talks about.
Which is interesting, because then you get into the whole idea of like the illusion of choice. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's like that all sort of leads into hard determinism.
Yeah.
And if you are a hard determinist, then you have to sort of believe that choice isn't
free will.
exactly,
Free will
is not exactly a thing.
Technically, it's non-existent.
And it's basically sort of like what is happening, reality, and this feeling of choice seem to coincide perfectly. It's like two parallel lines that never touch, but they turn at the exact same time, and they you know what I mean, like, because you have an internal experience that is like, I am choosing to pick up this deck of cards and spring it.
Yeah.
But everything that's ever happened up until this point, and everything that's, you know, my whole genetics and my parents, you know, coming together and, you know, creating me, lead up to this moment where I choose to spring the cards, and the internal experience of choosing this feels very much like I've chosen it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, a hard determinist would say, if you reset the universe at this exact moment in time, you know, like a few seconds ago, and you just click go, and all the chemical reactions happen, and everything is, you know, because it's all physics and theory, right?
Cause
then I would every time I'd pick the cards up and spring, and every time I'd have this experience of choosing to do that thing, but in reality, am I really choosing?
Yeah.
And so that in itself is a magical thing. Like, what the fuck is that?
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Are you familiar with Sam Harris?
Yeah, I know. I mean, obviously know who he is.
Yeah.
I'm not like very well, like, I know he has got this whole thing on the illusion of choice, and like it goes
illusion
deep.
of free will. He has a book on it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think that's pretty much what I'm talking about as well. And same thing you were talking about.
I haven't really studied his work on it, but yeah.
That's essentially the point.
Yeah.
It's like technically it doesn't make sense for us to have free will, our agency. They did like studies on like people, like, so the most, like, I guess one of the best ways to study if this is real or not, free will essentially, is you give someone a choice and you get them to choose. That's free will, right? Being able to choose make your decision of external influence or internal influence. you making the choice. So they put like brain scans, the MRI scans, and they asked people to choose between two options, A or B, various different options. And they just kept like observing their neurological patterns, like the firing of the neurons. And reliably, with like very strong, I don't know what the percentages, we have to see the statistics. I don't know the exact this thing. But they could tell 5 or 6 seconds before the person made the choice what they were going to choose, A or B.
I feel like I've heard of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's like pretty strong evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because how does that like relate back to, and I fucking wish I was smarter and more interested in these topics, but how does that relate back to like, quantum physics and this whole idea of probability of things being somewhere, right? Like it's either certain or it's not, you know? And so it's like how determinism would have you believe that everything's somehow predetermined in some way. And like everything leads to something. But I guess, this whole quantum physics, like percentages, that doesn't logically line up with that,
Yeah. Yeah, it's very complex, isn't it? It's a whole, I think the whole world is just like complex. This is getting into really like, I don't know what territory, but this entire like, what seems to me at least is what I'm just going to share what I feel.
Yeah, 100%. That's all we can do.
Yeah,
bro.
Absolutely.
You're going to share what you're going to share anyway, so you might as well share.
I mean, there's no free will, so whatever's going to come out is already predetermined.
Exactly.
It seems like the whole world is this like complex web of energy. Like it's like this complex, highly sophisticated energetic system where all kinds of actions or inactions and different like things affect different things. Like this massive like chain of cause and effect. And based on those changes, there's shifts, I guess, in energy or whatever, which obviously have ripple effects, creating different scenarios. And I think the randomness or the improbability, the uncertainty, I guess, lies in that complexity.
So it just might be that we're not fit or we're not able to calculate like past these probabilities, but there's probably a real like there's probably a truth at some deeper level that we can't even access yet.
Yeah, just because of the sheer scale of things. Yeah.
So we just use models and probabilities and sort of predictions to try to figure out what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
But in reality.
And maybe we will eventually be able to like have that kind of like access or control over like understanding the nature of reality and being able to tell like, like that's where the atom is. But yeah, at the moment, obviously we can't.
Fascinating stuff, man.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I knew we'd go deep at some point, baby. I knew it. I just had to fucking, draw it out a little bit. Oh, man. I love it.
No, it's been enjoying it, man.
Hell
Good
yeah.
time.
Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, great. Loved it. Just,
Yeah, dude.
Best of luck with this. It's just an honor to, well, I guess I haven't did this once, but, if you're going to do this as the first episode, obviously, an honor to be the first episode. It's absolute joy. So much fun. I'm really excited to see how this unfolds, and best of luck.
Yeah, at the end of the day, man, it's just, we're just going to keep having more fun. So that's
absolutely,
at the end of the day, all that matters.
Cool.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man.
Honored to have you on. And check him out on YouTube. Dev Sherman.
Yeah.
On Instagram's Dev Sherman.
Dev Sherman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Something Magic.
There's Something Magic. If you're in Auckland, New Zealand, come check out the shows. Experimental, well-rehearsed shows. Open mic for magic. Never been done before in New Zealand. But we're doing it. We're out here on the precipice of magical change. I don't know.
Revolution.
Yeah,
Magical
revolution. That's it. Viva la revolution.
We should do one with like all three of us. Podcast.
Hell yeah.
That would be fun.
I need to invest in another mic, but I'll do that eventually.
Oh yeah, true. Third one, yeah.
one time.
Yeah.
He's actually coming next.
Cool.
Alan's
awesome.
the next guy on. So.
Alan's great.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, he'll be wonderful to have on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, man. Awesome.
Cool.
Fuck yeah.
All right.
It's a good one. Thanks for watching this episode of the Eduard Todor podcast. Hope you enjoyed. We put a lot of work into this. If you have any suggestions or you want to support, comment down below, like, share, subscribe, all the rest of it. Follow us on every single social media platform that exists, that is known to man, okay? Just do it. It'll help us out. See you in the next episode.